Welcome to Midwest Paranormal presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight's guest is Susan Shumsky. She's the author of Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition. She's also the author of the Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing, and how to unlock your 7 energy centers for healing, happiness, and transformation. We're getting into the net tonight. I think she's a perfect guest for everybody pretty much being mostly on lockdown. If you're not and you are having to go to work, thank you. I hope you stay safe out there. I am on basically off of work right now getting paid, and I'm a lucky person for that. I feel very lucky my company's doing that. But right now I'm trying to get back into meditation. So this is a perfect guest for me. I hope it's a perfect guest for you. What a perfect time, right? Only problem for mine is two small children running around my house screaming and yelling. So maybe she's got some advice for that. Of course, we got the World Wide Web of Weird, and we got a lot of weird to get to. I promise not too much coronavirus stuff in the World Wide Web of Weird. I just got a couple things, but I think they're things that might make you laugh. It made me a little worried, but more laugh. We'll get to that. And we will open up the phone lines after the second commercial break. Now, we will talk about, talking to spirits and using third eye meditation to communicate the other sides, which Susan does, but she's not going to do any readings tonight. But if you have a question for her, call in, or you want to share an experience, definitely call in. I'll give out those phone numbers later in the show. But let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight's guest, Susan Shumsky, will join us after the World Wide Web of Weird. And like I said, we'll always save the phone calls, wait to those till after the second commercial break. I want to get to know our new guest tonight. And joining me, as always, is my beautiful co-host, Jamie D., all the way out in California. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well. Been looking forward to this one all week.
Oh, how have I been looking forward to I am really enjoying the time with my children. I really am. But every parent can tell you got to have a break. You got to get something to get away from it. This is my getaway from that, my little Zen moment here with you guys. Talk about the paranormal. Also joining us from St. Augustine, Florida, is Rob Autry himself, who's going to run the World Wide Web Weird. How you doing tonight, Rob? And Rob's quiet now. I don't hear Rob. See, I told you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He was changing mics right before we went live, and I was like, "It isn't broke, Rob. Don't fix it." Yeah. We hear you now, Rob.
I'm going stir crazy.
But yeah, we got a lot of weird to get to. I was trying to, I'm going to start the World Wide Web of Weird off with, the paranormal stuff. That's what the weird is about. But there are some interesting coronavirus things. I mean, we are living in a really weird time, aren't we? I mean, everything's weird. Everybody I hear say it seems so surreal right now. I watched The Matrix this week with my son, and now he thinks he lives in a simulated reality. Yeah, so it does seem very surreal right now. So, but I want let's go ahead tonight and start off with the weird. So let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, let's start out with some UFO stuff. That's what I thought. Because, the other night, being confined to my house, late at night when my kids go to bed, I've been going outside, just sitting outside for a little bit. We had a night that was like 62 degrees. Now it's snow on the ground. Welcome to Indiana. When we had a 60-degree night, I was sitting outside and looking up, and I'm like, not many planes flying around. Man, this would be a good time for UFOs to just go cruising. Nobody's outside, hardly. Nobody's looking. Perfect time for UFOs. Well, we got one here from Texas. For those listening on our Paranormal Radio Network, we are a webcast. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, where we show videos and pictures. And there are some videos tonight, some interesting ones. You can always go back and watch. Go to YouTube, go to Facebook, follow, subscribe, do what you can. Share the show. Everybody shares the show. Thank you very much. But tonight, we're going to start out with UFOs. This odd video filmed in Texas shows a curious cluster of UFOs hovering in the night sky. The puzzling footage was reportedly filmed by Mario Rios this past Tuesday evening in the city of El Paso. While driving from the highway, the bewildered witness spotted the strange orbs in the sky and stopped to capture the mystifying scene with his cell phone. And you'll see it. I mean, this is with a cell phone. He seemed pretty close to this. In Rio's video, what appears to be eight balls, not an 8 ball, but 8 balls of light can be seen slowly moving across the sky as he exclaims with a combination of what sounds like wonder and fear. It's in Spanish. Theories from viewers online as to what the UFOs could have been included drones, Chinese lanterns, or of course an alien ship of some kind. I don't think these are lanterns. I don't know what this could be. It could be lanterns, but the way that they hold a formation, I don't know. Go ahead and let me get the full screen of this. So go ahead and play the video, Rob.
Pues no sé qué sea, pero son muchos, ¿será?
Perdón.
Y van subiendo. Acaban más.
You want to see the video full? I know they have it on Hidden Underbelly on YouTube. It could be, flares maybe. I don't know. It is weird.
Yeah, I think they're too big to be like Chinese lanterns or anything.
Right. That's what I mean.
I don't think it's lanterns.
But I say, what a perfect time for aliens right now to go cruising. Hardly anybody's out looking, right?
Pues son de esferas, ¿será?
I mean, I know air traffic's down.
Again, man, it makes me have a flashback to, my 5 weird orange lights in a row in the sky.
Yeah.
Weren't lanterns, they weren't flares. And when one of them just went and took off, flares don't do that.
Nope. So what I say, I always want to see the exit. There's no exit to this. I don't know when he must just stop filming. I don't know. Yeah. If you film a UFO, film it all the way until it vanishes and let me see it vanish. That's the key to me. How does it leave? All right, another UFO video here. The articles from Coast to Coast AM. It's the only ones I could find on it. This one was in Massachusetts. A weird video filmed in Massachusetts shows a strange key-shaped UFO that left witnesses convinced they were seeing something alien in the sky. The curious sighting occurred earlier this month in Plymouth County as 2 young men were walking along a soccer field. Their excursion came to an abrupt halt when they noticed a dark oddity flying above them. According to the witness, the object flew parallel to our heads. It was approximately 300 feet away from them. Although they not only appeared to be around the size of a helicopter, the 2 observers could not figure out what it was. As such, began filming the weird scene. By the time I got out my phone, he recalled the witness, the object had already begun accelerating away from us. So yeah, it is very small speck you're going to see here, and there's a zoom in that they do. He went on to explain that while it may appear to be hovering in the video, it actually was traveling forward at a great deal of speed. Go ahead and play the video.
Yeah, let's go underneath it.
Famous last words of an abductee. Let's go underneath it. That's what Travis Walton said.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's
Okay, so that's an airplane.
I mean, it's going to be really hard for people to speak, especially if they're watching this on a cell phone or something like that right now. Zeal go to Zeal on YouTube. You can find the link to that. You'll find the video. But there's a zoom in we're going to have here in a second.
Matt, that is not of this world.
And when you see it, when it zooms in, it looks like a key in the sky.
Yeah. Looks like a skeleton key or something.
Go ahead and get to the zoom in part. Let's fast forward it. Because it just pretty much flies away from him. There, it looks like I've been watching Lock and Key on Netflix. Is what.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, it looks like a kind of a key. I don't know what that could be.
Yeah.
You can see through it. Like there's like a circle at the top of it. You can see through it and then something coming down. It is weird. But let's move on before we run out of time. All right. On to some Bigfoot, which we're watching. I watched Smallfoot and the Son of Bigfoot last 2 nights in a row, with my boys because they love Bigfoot. They're both animated stories. If you got kids, Son of Bigfoot, yeah, it's all right. Smallfoot, hilarious. Loved it. Both of them have singing in it, though. Me and my 8-year-olds are like, oh, just singing. But my 4-year-old loves it. All right, next one. So Bigfoot. Worker, this is from Unexplained Mysteries. Worker captures alleged Bigfoot on dash cam. The shot 30 miles east of Banff Park boundary near Nordig, Alberta. The short clip was recorded by an oil field worker who had been driving along when he picked up something on the side of the road. According to the accompanying description, he hadn't noticed anything unusual at the time and only discovered the anomalous figure when he reviewed the footage later for an unrelated reason. All right, so go ahead and play this as a dash cam footage from Alberta, Nordig, Alberta.
Because this is something that's going to unfold. It's been unfolding for months. It's going to continue to unfold
right there.
for months.
I zoom in on it. Slow it down. It's like some dark figure in the woods. If you really look at this video, if you get a chance to go find it, like Unexplained Mysteries has a link to it. If you find worker captures alleged Bigfoot on dash cam and watch the video yourself and put in an ender like I did, I really zoom in. You almost see like eyes there for a second. I don't know. I don't know if it's my imagination or video matrixing. Go ahead and play it again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could just be a cluster of trees that made it look darker there, but I don't know. You got to wonder what Bigfoot's, Bigfoot might start coming out. He notices everybody staying inside, if he's near enough to a local town where Bigfoot inhabitants are, or if they're starting to wonder what's going on. Where's all those pesky humans?
He's the king.
Can Bigfoot get coronavirus? Stay away, Bigfoot. I don't think he has to worry about it. Got another one. See, like I said about him getting curious. That was dash cam footage. This one is very viral. Bigfoot peers through window in new images. Another one from Unexplained Mysteries. A curious set of photographs have emerged showing an alleged Sasquatch looking through a man's window. The images, which appear to show the head of a large gorilla-like creature, reportedly taken by Scott Yeoman outside of his home in Bailey, Colorado. In August 2017, me and my wife and I were finishing the interior of the back of our house, and it came to the living room and caught a whiff of a very harsh odor in the room. It smelled like rotting animal flesh, vomit, and excrement. I caught a glimpse of something moving outside the window from the corner of my eye. Initially believing the intruder to be a bear, he moved closer only to realize that it was something else. When I realized it wasn't a bear, fear struck me hardcore. I used a cheap Kodak Sport digital camera for taking pictures, and for most part, it takes fast action pictures and video. After capturing the images of the creature, Yeoman went for his gun, but as he turned back to shoot, the intruder moved away from the window and quickly disappeared into the wilderness. Concerned for their safety, his wife called the police and 3 officers arrived to investigate. Their conclusion was most likely a bear or other wildlife, he wrote, until I showed them the playback. When they reviewed it, 2 or 3 were impressed, and the third was like, it's a bear. Although Yeoman reports that he had uploaded footage of the creature to a computer at his mother's house, the building was later destroyed in a fire, taking the evidence with it. All that remains are the photographs that you see. And this, like I said, was 2017, but it's been going around. It was posted on Expedition Bigfoot's Facebook page, and go to Expedition Bigfoot on Facebook. The story behind the photos, I hope people can find something there to benefit them if they're dealing with 1 or 2. Like, was he talking about Bigfoot? Harassing house? Sorry, go to some of the pictures there. It looks like it is like peeking.
Yeah, but
it has some weird lighting to it. I don't know.
The lighting looks weird. If you're taking a picture in the house, I want to know what the light source is to make it glow like that. And at first, I didn't know it was a Kodak camera, but normally if you have like a flash or something, it's going to flash back on that glass. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I mean. It just seems weird. Almost looks like, I don't know.
Like either where there was a light on in the house. Even then, to take a picture of the
You can almost
window
see the
like
hair
that,
on his head and stuff. And this looks very like ape-like, the way the
it
nose is spread
does.
out.
It
And
really
the
does.
eyes.
Looking at my window.
Yeah. It's creepy. If you saw that looking in your window, I don't blame him for grabbing for his gun.
And some toilet paper. Because, you know, I'm on
Toilet paper. But you got to wonder, what does all this shutdown, all this stuff that's happening around the world, affect a creature like that? Are they paying attention? Are they going,
Right.
or aliens? What do the
Bigfoot
aliens
is
think?
the master of social distancing. Like, I
Right.
doubt he's going to want to come in and see what's going on. I don't know. I feel like it's Photoshop or something.
Yeah,
But there's a story to
it might not be.
I don't know.
This was 2017, but you wonder if there's some Bigfoots getting curious now. Humans got
Oh, yeah,
quiet.
it's
The streets got quiet.
2017, yeah.
Yeah, but they have approached people's homes before. I mean, this could be real. I don't know. I'm not a photo expert. It's just that lighting seems off to me a little bit. I don't know.
I agree.
Seems like a screenshot from a watching a movie or something. I don't know. But right there, the eyes and the nose, that's
look like an
that's
ape.
clear. Yeah, it looks like an ape. Very ape-like features. You can show them a map. I have a map there that they posted on the Expedition Bigfoot's Facebook page where this was taken at. So, I mean, they're remote. It looks like they're out in the mountains there. But that's what I'm saying. Bigfoot starts noticing people not being around. Maybe they're going to start coming out. And like I said, people, perfect time. You're bored at night, tired of the TV, tired of the internet. You got to be tired of Facebook and all the stuff people post on there. Go just step outside, look up in the sky. You might see a UFO.
Yeah.
The aliens got to be like, all the humans are gone away. Or are the aliens involved in this? I don't know.
Or
I don't
they're
want to get into
curious.
conspiracy there.
Because
Right.
of, anytime there's a war or anything crazy going on, there seems to be more sightings. They're like, we're fighting over toilet paper.
Well, like I said, the main thing I see is technology. If there's a living Bigfoot out there that's going to get it, it's going to be technology. It's going to be drones. They're going to get it. And speaking of that comes to our next article, the segue into that. All right, the next one, drone walks dog for man on coronavirus lockdown. Our world lives are going to change, definitely, because of everything going on. I tell people keep hope. Don't give into fear or conspiracy theories. We're going to get through this, but life is going to change. Talk about a tail wagging the dog. This comes from the New YorkDailyNews.com. One resourceful man in Cyprus used a drone to walk his dog while on lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, dang it, stupid article. Yeah, trying to read it.
We lost Rob.
Oh, really? No, not Rob. Hopefully he comes right back. I don't even have my picture set up. Well, hopefully they saw the picture of the dog rocking the drone. I don't even think I have my stuff set up. I better get it ready just in case.
I just wonder if the drone glitched and take off with the dog.
Right? All right. I have my World Wide Web weird going. If I got to share screen here, I will. I'm kind of praying for Rob to come back. But let me go ahead and read this here, and I'll see if I have to bring up the pictures of this. If it wants to let me, this article is like totally going nuts on me. Vakis Demetria shared the video Wednesday, captured on the 5th day of quarantine, while encouraging people to stay at home, but also remember to take care of their furry friends. The pooch itself appeared quite happy, trotting through empty streets. There's Rob. Charting through empty streets. I wish I could have put the video up there. It's kind of hilarious to watch this drone walk this dog. The Mediterranean island nation had 67 confirmed cases, more than that now. But, people using drones to walk their dogs, that's just like, reminds me of like Back to the Future 2. Because there was a scene of like this flying thing, I think, walking a dog, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think you're
Wasn't
right.
there? I think there was.
I believe you.
That's what it totally reminded me of when I saw this. That's a good way drones could be used. Drones could be used in a good way to find Bigfoot, not hurt Bigfoot. Bad way that drones are going to be used is more like another movie that I love but scares me now is Terminator or RoboCop.
Yep.
So, yeah, this one is from Spain. I got this from Coast to Coast AM. My computer's being stupid. Don't do that.
So is mine.
Mine wants to do an update or smart scan right now. I'm like, no, not right now. All right. To comply with coronavirus lockdown, Spanish police use drones to urge people to stay in their homes. Authorities in Spanish city of Madrid have come up with a futuristic way of encouraging people to stay in their homes following a lockdown response to the coronavirus. Go ahead and play the video. People get the gist of this. But this reminds me so much of RoboCop.
Yeah. The future.
You know, that's, well, if we all get scared, I mean, if this virus is with us for ever or more viruses, and this just changes the dynamic of the world, people aren't shaking hands anymore, we practice lots of social distancing, then that's going to be more like, let's have robotic police. I guess I've seen too much RoboCop, but yeah. Put down the weapon. I don't have a weapon. That's what I picture. That's just what I picture. But yeah, just wake up reality. They're going to start having drones, keep people off the streets. I see it. It's a good thing. We're not putting police officers' lives in the line with the coronavirus by doing things like that. But eventually, they're going to put something on the drone to enforce it, because the drone doesn't have a gun yet. The drone doesn't have anything to do with it. People are like, yeah, whatever, drone. But wait till they start putting stuff on the drones.
Yeah.
Or they take a picture of you and then the cops show up at your door and say, you were outside when you weren't supposed to be. I don't know. I mean, world's changing. World's is. But I do want to have a laugh about it. And this last one is from a mayor. I didn't get the town. I couldn't find an article, but this was going around a lot. And it's recent. They were having a coronavirus city council meeting. And the mayor, oh my God. So the mayor gets up and we lost Rob. Damn it. No, right when I want to play this video. Nah, no. Because I want the audio for this, and Rob's the man for it. This video, hopefully here, we're going to get to a sec, because we have to have the audio for it. If I do, dang it. Come on, Rob. Please come back. Darn it. The worst timing. Come on, Rob. Come back. I need Rob for this one. The last one. There he is. All right, I need you for this one. Let's play a video before we lose you again.
Maybe I can stay here again.
Oh my God. So yeah, this was a city council. The mayor gets up and forgets to leave his microphone off when he goes to the bathroom. Hilarity ensues. As soon as Rob can get it back.
Oh, this is the one you wouldn't show us yet.
Yeah, my audio.
Some people might have already seen this, I'm sure, but I think it's hilarious. My wife did. She about peed herself and she said, "Hi, babe."
Try and keep this brief.
Oh, it's not showing. I don't have the share screen, Rob. There we go. Okay.
Keep this brief. I won't belay details. I'm sure most of you remember his presentation from last time, and I imagine he's going to hit some of the highlights here in a minute. But the thing is that the highlights are coming. There's something we can do about it, and what we can do is call on governmental representatives. Higher.
He's not done.
Up the chain of.
Holy crap!
I love this woman. How she tries to get through it.
And
who's doing that?
At the federal level,
the mayor.
I am.
Doesn't know his mic's on.
Aware of
Mr.
Blanchard's concerns that he raised last time, and there would be instances where I actually agree that we should take action.
She tries to move forward.
First. There are not any laws in Georgetown, so for us to just say it within the city limits.
This is horrible.
Holy crap!
It's like a child's party.
And then he comes back. This is him coming back.
He's been here and washed his hands.
Don't know any boundaries. A state by state approach would just mean that the
Go back because it kind of missed it because you guys were laughing so hard. Go back to like midway because when he dumps the deuce, you hear it
locally first.
Wait.
There are not any CAFO operations in Georgetown, so for us to just say it's in the city limits would be
I know. I'm a child. I have a 4-year-old.
Would be an empty gesture.
That's a humor.
So,
You're making my eye twitch.
now for these diseases.
Hey, they say the coronavirus can be spread by farts. He's doing his
Don't go
part.
any longer.
Everybody knows he's not
Nuh-uh.
spreading the coronavirus with his farts.
Wow.
No,
That's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight's guest is Susan Shumsky, author of Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, Intuition, and also the big book of Chakras and Chakra Healing. We're going to talk about meditation. This is your perfect time right now, right? Everybody has the time now. Not everybody, but a lot of people do, including myself, to get back into meditation. I've talked about it on the show a lot lately about how I need to do it. So this is a perfect guest right now, isn't it? All right, guys. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do voices from beyond the cold case files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Bring life to the dead. 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 Enter the occult world of necromancy. You were brought here for one purpose. Necromancy.
A ceremony dating back to the pre-Christian era. It's the art of reviving the dead. It requires involvement with evil spirits by the person performing the act.
The devil god brings life to the dead.
No, please. No, please,
And death to the living. Necromancy. Starring Orson Welles and Pamela Franklin. From Cinerama releasing. In color, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
The international chart-topping, haunted horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest, the true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
The night is alive. Join us and take a walk on the weird side when you tune in to The Kingdom of Nye, hosted by Heather Wade, the finest in late night talk. Listen live free weeknights starting at 9 p.m. Pacific time at thekingdomofnye.com, talkstreamlive.com, and the Paranormal Radio app. Wanna take a ride?
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
From deep space, the seed is planted. Terror grows.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Certificate X. Now showing London Pavilion, Classic Oxford Street.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Dr. Susan Shumsky. So Dr. Susan Shumsky has dedicated her life to helping people take command of their lives in highly effective, powerful, positive ways. She's a best-selling author of 17 books in English, published in Simon Schuster's Random House, Penguin, Red Wheeler, Weiser, and Skyhorse, and 34 books published in foreign languages. She won 31 prestigious book awards, a pioneer in the human potential field. She has taught thousands of people meditation, prayer, affirmation, intuition. Her book titles include Miracle Prayer, Divine Revelation, Exploring Meditation, How to Hear the Voice of God, Ascension, Instant Healing, The Power of Auras, The Power of Chakras, The Awakening of Your Third Eye, Awaken Your Divine Intuition, Color Your Chakras, The Big Book of Chakras, The Third Eye Meditation, Earth Energy Meditations, Maharishi, and me. Dr. Shumsky is highly respected spiritual teacher and founder of the Divine Revelations, a unique field-proven technology for contacting the divine presences, hearing and testing the inner voice, and receiving clear divine guidance. For over 2 decades, her mentor was Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who was guru to the Beatles, and Dr. Shumsky served on Maharishi's personal staff for 6 years. A sought-after media guest and highly acclaimed professional speaker, Dr. Shumsky has done over 700 speaking engagements, over 111 media appearances, and including Women's World, GQ, Cosmopolitan, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, National Syndicated TV, Radio, Fox News. She's been all over the place. I'm really honored to have her as a guest tonight. Like I said, I'm wanting to get back in meditation. What perfect time being locked inside my house. So I need a lot of advice on this, and I got her 2 books sitting right here with me: Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Spirit and Intuition, and the Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing, How to Unlock Your 7 Energy Centers for Healing, Happiness, and Transformation. These are beautiful books. I started reading this last week. I'm trying to get back in meditation, so let's go ahead and welcome our guest.
Hello, Jason.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for joining us.
I am just thrilled to be here with you tonight. I can't wait for our interview.
Well, where should we start? I mean, there's a lot there I had in that bio. The Maharishi Mahesh, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was my guru. In fact, I wrote a memoir about that. It's called Maharishi and Me, Seeking Enlightenment with the Beatles Guru, which is tons of fun.
Well, I kind of want to start there. Like, how did you get into this in your life with, I mean, studying with one of the most famous yogis of all time?
Right. So I was a hippie. It was the 60s. I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was a flower child. And those of us who were flower children, it wasn't just all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Actually, we were very seriously seeking what we called at the time altered states of consciousness. And our gurus at that time were Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert, who later became Ram Dass. And they had written a book called The Psychedelic Experience. And we were told by them to turn on, tune in, and drop out. So that's what I was trying to do. And I was reading the Buddhist scriptures. I was reading Paramahansa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi. I was reading The Way of Zen by Alan Watts and other books by Alan Watts. And in Alan Watts' books, he said that you have to find a quote unquote meditation guide. Well, in 1966 in Berkeley, California, you didn't exactly go to the yellow pages and look up meditation guide.
There was no internet either. So
there was nothing. At that time, there was no meditation. There was no mantra. There was no yoga. There was no esoteric bookstore. I mean, there was nothing. And those terms didn't exist. So I asked a friend, well, how do I find this meditation guide? And he said, well, have you ever tried to meditate on your own? And I said, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. So I lay down on my bed. That's how clueless I was, Jason. I didn't even know you're supposed to sit up when you meditate.
Right.
I lay on my bed and I sort of prayed for or asked for a meditation. And immediately I was propelled into this ecstatic state. I could feel or cord or rush of energy rushing from the tips of my toes all the way to the top of my head. And I felt like I was plugged into a cosmic electric socket, but in a most ecstatic way. And I thought, well, I guess this is meditation. I didn't know any better. Little did I know that I had my first meditation experience and also Kundalini awakening all at the same time without any drugs or stimulants whatsoever, by the way. So that was my first.
Or being taught how.
Yeah, exactly. That was my first introduction. And then a friend took me to the Transcendental Meditation Center in Berkeley. There was no meditation teacher there, but there was a picture of Maharishi hanging on the wall. And when I saw the picture of Maharishi, I could feel this amazing energy just streaming from his eyes, this love energy, this love vibration. And I just thought, this is where I'm going to learn real meditation, which is what I was seeking, was to learn real meditation. So I had to wait for quite a while. 9 months later, finally, a meditation teacher came to the center. And so I learned meditation in August of 1967 during the Summer of Love. And then not too many years after that, I actually went to India and studied with Maharishi. And I was in his ashrams for over 2 decades, and I served on his personal staff for 6 years.
That had to be an interesting experience. I mean,
oh, yes.
a lot of, it wasn't just the Beatles. I mean, there was a lot of famous people that, kind of looked to him in that era of time.
Absolutely.
Because, we were so confined to Western religion, the Christianity, and these were new ideas then. One of my favorite, for me as a kid, I grew up with the idea of that there's more to this reality than what we see by a number of paranormal personal experiences I had. And when I was in my young, I was early 20s, and that I really got into meditation, and I had a very similar experience as yours when I first started doing it. I didn't have a teacher or anything. I was reading some books, and I just did basic meditation, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know about Kundalini. And I had that almost exactly. The best way I could describe it is having that feeling of like energy, like that, but a good one, like being electric shocked, but if it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It very similar to your description.
Exactly. Yeah. That's fantastic. That's great. It means what that means simply is that you have done this in past lives.
Is that what it means?
This isn't your first rodeo.
Well, I didn't know. See, this I was very. To be honest about it, I was a bit scared because I didn't understand it yet. I didn't know what was going on. I felt this pressure at the top of my head, at the very top. You know, like the spinning at the top of my head, and then it would start like in my forehead and move down. This is before I knew about anything about the chakras, and I'm still a lot I could learn. You got a book with like plenty for me to learn in it here, but. I didn't know anything at the time. I heard of chakras, but I had no idea what was happening to me. I thought I had a brain tumor. I'm not joking. That's how I felt like, because the pressure in my head, it wasn't like painful pressure, you know, but it was weird. And it was this spinning at the top of my head.
Right. Well, yes, you were having experiences of Kundalini, experiences of the chakras, and you didn't understand them. And when we don't understand the experiences we're having, that can oftentimes cause us to be so fearful and so upset about that it can actually cause a psychotic break. And people don't understand the experiences, the spiritual experiences that they're having.
I have heard that there can be some dangers to some people unlocking their Kundalini without knowledge of it or understanding, I guess.
Yeah, the important thing is education. The important thing is to really understand what's happening, and then you don't have to be afraid of any experience.
Right. I got over it. I started learning about chakras, and I started learning how to meditate with it, and had some really interesting experiences with it. And then I got away from it, you know, life, the kids, things I got away. And I really, now, like I said at the beginning of the show, with all this time alone, I think you're a perfect guest tonight to really get into how people either start the practice or get back into the practice. For me personally, it's for me getting back into it. And I mean, I had one experience where I was meditating, just focusing on the you know, like kind of the wheels spinning of the chakras. And I ended up in like a lucid state for a moment where I was in another kind of like existence, but I was conscious, fully aware. And it lasted for very briefly, but it was like the closest thing I could feel like if, you know, what people describe like the way you feel when you a near-death experience.
Yeah.
And the problem was, after I had that experience, I kept chasing it and I never got back to it.
Yeah, chasing doesn't work. You have to let go. In order to have good meditation experiences, you have to do, in my opinion, you have to do what I call the do nothing program. That means do nothing, nothing, and less than nothing. And the less that you do, the better experiences that you'll have.
Now you did, it was the 60s, you know, experiment with like hallucinogenic drugs. I mean, you know, Timothy Leary, Ramdas, you know, what was that experience for you, and what made you turn to like, okay, that's not it. I need meditation's the key.
Well, the first time I had LSD, I actually had a psychotic breakdown because I never came down from the drug, and I was having continual LSD flashbacks for weeks, maybe even into months. It was the most terrifying experience I had ever had in my life. It was horrid, and yeah, I mean, it didn't work out too well for me to take LSD. I did take another couple of times, though, strangely enough, because I was so motivated and so desperate to experience nirvana. And that's what Timothy Leary and Ram Dass were telling us, that we could experience nirvana through these drugs. So I continued to take marijuana and LSD. Didn't have the horrid things happen again, but and with marijuana, I was able to go into kind of a meditative state, what I thought was a meditative state. And in the last time I took LSD was really weird, because I went into this blissful state of consciousness, and I had a blissful, ecstatic smile on my face for 4.5 hours, but I was completely unconscious that entire time. I had no memory of it. Right when I opened my eyes and looked around, and my so-called LSD guide was lying there on the grass next to me. You know, he was asleep, and I shook him, woke him up, and I said, "What happened?" And he said, "You've been lying there in this ecstatic look on your face for 4.5 hours." And I'm like, oh, I guess I got robbed of my nirvana because I was completely unconscious the whole time that it was happening.
Yeah, that's not going to do you any good. You know, of course, Western civilization, the way we want a pill to give us enlightenment. we want a drug to do it.
That's what LSD was.
Right.
It was literally a pill.
The quick
in my
fix.
case, it was a sugar cube at the time.
Yeah. Well, it's the quick. It just seems to be the way Western idealism is like. We can do a pill, and that'll get us there.
Exactly.
Not the work of it.
Or whatever.
Did you ever read the Carlos Castanda? Or I'm probably butchering that.
Castaneda.
Yeah. I see.
No, I didn't. I didn't read his books for some bizarre reason. They were very popular at the time.
Well,
I didn't.
What I found interesting about those books is, though, it seems similar. Like, you know, he loads up the Carlos with a bunch of peyote and other mixtures of drugs and shows them this other reality, and then they don't do drugs anymore. Like, that was just to show you that it existed. So I can see some people, you know, like they take ayahuasca and stuff like that to like maybe open some people's minds up to the perception that there is something more than the perception you're seeing. But in the end, I don't see how anybody could just think they're going to get enlightenment from just continuously taking a drug.
Well, the trouble with drugs is it actually kills your brain cells.
Right.
So it's not a very good idea to take drugs, especially not for a long period of time. I know that it really screwed me up really bad, and I certainly stopped taking them before I started meditating and have not taken them since. And, you know, that was well over 50 years ago.
So you said you spent about 6 years as the personal assistant of
I was
Maharishi?
on his staff. I was not the
Well,
personal.
yeah.
I was on his staff. There were maybe.
What were you do? What was your time there like? I mean, what did you? I mean, of course, you were focusing on inner enlightenment, all that stuff. I mean, what was that like? I mean, how did they train you or help you with that?
Yeah, well, it was amazing to be with Maharishi in his presence. He was the happiest person I've ever met in my life, and he exuded this amazing energy. Whenever you were close to him in proximity, you could feel these waves of bliss that would come your way. You'd feel loved in a way you had never felt love. You never really knew what love was until you were with an enlightened being like that, who is radiating divine love all the time, because it's God's love. It's complete, amazing, unconditional love. And so being in his presence was really blissful. And you would feel, literally, there would be waves of bliss. You'd feel it viscerally. You'd feel these waves coming towards you. And it was so powerful and so amazing. And people who were on staff, you know, we knew what it was like to be near him. And so we were fighting with each other all the time, competing to get close to him. And meanwhile, he was working on us. He was working on us individually. It's traditional in India for a guru to do something I call it open ego surgery, in the sense that what they're trying to do is they're trying to remove the ego so that God can take over, basically. And so what they'll do is they will praise you till you feel all puffed up, and then they'll squash you down so you feel like the most lowly worm crawling on the earth. And it's the most intense experience. It was the most intense experience I'd ever experienced in my life. It was combination heaven and hell. Heaven when he would praise me and make me feel really important, and hell when he'd make me feel like I was nothing and useless. And it was, this is traditional. I'm telling you, you can read books about this. It's, you know, but people in the West don't understand it. They don't know anything about it. That's one of the main reasons I wrote my book, was to give people an understanding of what it's really like to go through this process of being changed and transformed by a spiritual master, the way that they work on you. Also, the other thing he would do is he would make all of us, not just me, all of us who worked closely with him, he would make us do everything over and over and over and over and over again. And then when we had done it, we'd come to him and to show him our results, and he wouldn't be interested anymore. He would go on to the next thing. And it was just all about lessons in futility. I call them lessons in futility, number one. And number two, becoming the best that you can be. I mean, he had me do these paintings, for example. I'm an artist, and I was doing these paintings for him, and he would have me redo, he'd see the painting and say, "Oh, yes, this is so lovely, this and this, and could we just do this?" And then I'd have to change it. I'd have to do another painting. And this went on, by the way, for 5 years, doing the same painting over and over and over and over and over again, until I actually became a pretty good artist.
He was doing it to
improve to make you a better version of yourself. It's like he brought out the best in people. He made people excel through having them redo things over and over. This was one of his things one of his tactics he would use. There were several tactics, but it was really, really bizarre and really amazing and really spiritually uplifting and incredibly blissful to be around him. But like I said, roller coaster of emotions, heaven to hell, heaven to hell. It was intense, and it was more intense than any corporate environment anyone's ever been in. You might think a corporate environment is intense as far as competition. Nothing compared to this. This was so intense, emotionally intense, on a daily basis. It was so intense.
I think, most people would picture all you guys sitting there, meditating, everybody's peaceful and calm.
That would be the people who came to take the courses.
Right. But
the people that we were the staff that were in charge of making everybody comfortable, and the people coming to take these courses where they're in meditation all the time and blissed out all the time. And by the way, there were stretches of time where I was meditating long hours. Actually, the whole time I was there, I meditated anywhere from 5 to 20 hours a day.
Wow.
But when I was on staff, it was more like the 5 hours rather than the 20 hours, And so there was plenty of meditation going on at the time. And by the way, people don't have to meditate those long hours anymore because the vibration of the earth does not require it. The vibration of the earth back then, we needed to raise the vibration of the planet. And that's why we spent so many hours in meditation.
So that's a good point. I mean, I'm one of those people who believe like in a collective unconscious, that a universal conscious, I question everything. I'm a Gnostic, but I'm a spiritual Gnostic. I believe in certain factors I believe are pretty evidentiary. And the universal conscious and way we think as a collective does affect reality. On a personal level, do your beliefs believe that we affect our own reality on a personal level by our beliefs?
Absolutely. Lord Buddha, in the very first verse of the first chapter of the Dhammapada, which is the essential scripture of Buddhism, he says, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. I'll say that again because it's such a stunning statement.
Right.
He says, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. And then he goes on to say, if a person speaks or acts with a pure thought, then happiness follows him or her. If a person speaks or acts with an impure thought, then unhappiness follows him or her. And by the way, Jesus said the same thing. He said a person is not defiled by what they put into their mouth. They're defiled by what comes out of their mouth. So we are creating our own destiny moment by moment, day by day, through every thought, every word, and every deed. And we are the sole creator of our own universe. We have created whatever situation we are in, we are 100% responsible for that because we created it through our own subconscious beliefs, our own thoughts.
I've had other guests on here pretty much iterating the same idea, the same thought. And I've been always a constant worrywart,
Yeah.
And I'm trying, like during this crisis, trying not to be, and trying to encourage my friends not to be, and family, and telling people, I'm trying to change my perspective. Many years ago, my early 20s, when I was getting into this, I was also getting into like conspiracy theories and what's going on with the government. I let go of all that stuff. And I see it all flying now. I see people I never thought would get into conspiracy theory suddenly getting into it with what's going on. And I'm like, don't, look at what we do know. there's a lot we don't know, and don't give into the fear of what we don't know. Just take it one day at a time and do what you can to make your situation better, and do what you can to make your friends or family situation better, what you can do to help others. That's all you can do. And you have to, keep, saying, keep looking at it as way we can find positive ways to get, move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I asked Spirit about this pandemic, and Spirit told me that the gift of this pandemic, that there is a gift of the pandemic, there's a reason for it. And that is, and it's definitely not what you think it is.
Okay.
The reason isn't because somebody did something to create it. It's not the conspiracy. That's not the reason. The reason, underlying, deepest reason, has to do with the fact that we need to change, that human beings need to make a change. And what has happened in our world is that we become very isolated through technology. And people are no longer having conversations with each other. And they're not really, the family unit is not really very strong. Everybody's all isolated on their little phones and all that. Even though social media is supposed to make us more social, it actually pushes us apart. It actually creates greater distance rather than greater camaraderie. So something like this, a crisis like this, had to happen so that we could come back to the family unit, number one, and number two, come back to the heart, giving, compassion for other people, so that we could come back to the best part of ourselves, expressing the best of ourselves rather than the worst of ourselves. And so that we could become more unified as humanity, which all this is happening, by the way, because of this pandemic. And it's very important for us to accept these gifts and really make an effort to become more loving, more compassionate, do what we can, as you were saying, do what we can to help ourselves and to help other people. Because this crisis, as, for example, 9/11 and other things that have happened in the past, world wars and so on, brings people together. It brings the best out of people.
Well, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so let's focus on that. And by the way, this is not going to last as long as people think it's going to last.
That's my feeling on it too.
That's my little prediction.
Well, okay, so this is something to get into. You say you talk to Spirit, okay? And I totally believe in. But by the way, again, guys, if you call in tonight, we're not doing readings, okay? She does have this connection. We're going to learn more about that tonight, but we're not doing readings. But I've had experiences where I've been reading your book and about the inner voice, and I'm going to tell you about an experience that I had, because what I'd like to learn is how I can tap back into it. I had an experience once, and people have heard this on the show. I apologize, but where I was in a house, I didn't know I was being brought there because I wanted to see if I knew it was haunted, which I did as soon as I pretty much walked in. I was holding a photograph of a deceased person. He was actually in his coffin. And out of nowhere, without having any knowledge of who this person was or whatever, all I knew is a family left this photo album that previously lived there. I said, his name's William. He goes by Bill. And the owner turns to me. He goes, yeah, I don't know. At that point, it wasn't inner voice. It just popped out of my mouth while I was holding this picture.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, my wife and this guy's girlfriend were like, well, what's the last name? What's the last name? I'm like, I don't know why I said the first name. So I just got really quiet. I held the picture, and it was like my own little inner voice tell me. I could hear the last name, Eiler, like just this little quiet voice. I'm like, it's something like Eiler or Eisler. And the owner stopped and looked at me. He goes, that's their last name. And I didn't even tell my girlfriend that.
Oh my gosh.
And I also knew, just knowing, I knew it wasn't just an inner voice, but I had a knowing that he was an alcoholic and that he left old World War II items in the home hidden somewhere. And 2 weeks later, the guy's girlfriend found them hidden in the house. Just like I said, they were hidden there. That is the only time I've had I've had other psychic experiences. I've dreams that have come true and all that, but that was the only time I sat there consciously, had a voice come to me and really tell me something that I would have no knowledge of. Yeah. And I've been a believer ever since that people can talk to spirit, because I experienced it myself. how have you, doing these, doing the third eye meditation, chakra, how have you tapped into this ability?
Well, thank goodness I actually learned how to do it. You can learn how to do this, it's not just something that arbitrarily doesn't have to happen arbitrarily to people. In other words, people say, oh, I was psychic since birth. Oh, people only are psychic if they're already psychic. That's not true. You can actually learn how to listen to the still small voice within. I learned how. And several of my books teach people how to do that. And it's really very simple. I'll tell you how to do it. All you have to do is you just take some deep breaths. Here, I'll show you how to take a deep breath. It's like this. That would be a deep breath. And when you take maybe 3 of those deep breaths, you'll start to settle down to a state of inner peace. And by the way, this was very good for anybody who's worried about the pandemic and fearful, right, and in a state of alarm or a state of hysteria, even
anxiety.
Anxiety and all that.
I think that's a big one for people right now. Everybody,
exactly.
Fear causes anxiety. I have it in my home. My 8-year-old son, I found out, is having anxiety about it.
Well, I would understand why. I mean, if he turned on the television and saw the nightly news, it would be terrifying, especially for a young child.
But he hears mom and dad talk, and
exactly.
He's like very perceptive. And I found out he's having anxiety because of it. It breaks my heart.
Of course. Yes, it is. So just taking a few deep breaths like that, you'll settle down immediately. Just taking a few deep breaths and then getting quiet and centered and maybe taking a few more deep breaths like that. Take enough deep breaths until you really feel quietude, until you really feel like you're letting go. Actually with each deep breath you take, with the out breath, with the exhale, just let go. Just completely give up as you're taking that out breath. And then you'll get into a state of peacefulness, state of meditation, if you will. And by the way, you can also ask to be taken deeper into meditation. Everything that I teach is based upon one principle, and that is ask and it shall be given unto you.
Ask and you shall receive, basically.
Yes, exactly. So by asking, you can go deeper. Call upon a divine being to help you by name. Call upon a divine being, like you might say, Archangel Michael, take me deeper, or Jesus, take me deeper, or Buddha, take me, whoever you want to call upon. Call upon a divine being that you feel comfortable about, that you trust, and ask them to help you, to take you deeper into meditation. Ask and it shall be given. When you ask, you receive. So then once you're in that released state of quietude, you've taken some deep breaths, you've asked, you go into this state of inner quietude, you're feeling relaxed, you're feeling peaceful. Then the good thing to do is to do something that people don't normally do when they're in deep meditation. And that is to ask. Ask a question, ask for guidance, ask for inspiration, ask for creative ideas for a project you're working on. Ask what is wise for me to do about the pandemic, what is wise for me to do about a problem I'm having with my spouse, what's wise for me to do about this problem my child is having. Ask the question, and then take another big deep breath, and then do what I call the do nothing program. That means do nothing, nothing, and less than nothing. Just have a neutral attitude, but be open to receive. And then the answer will come to you. You'll receive the answer in one of 3 ways, either seeing, feeling, or hearing. Seeing would be clairvoyance, where you see a vision in your inner eye, in your field of vision, as your eyes are closed, and you'll see something. Or you may hear some words that are coming into your mind, as you did when you had your experience.
Yeah.
Or you will you'll get a feeling, like a gut feeling. Those are the 3 basic ways that we receive answers to the questions from the still small voice within. Now, everything that I teach, I teach people to do these things at will, not just haphazardly, not just, okay, well, I had this experience, came out of the blue, but You can ask for the experience and receive it at will. And that's what I teach people how to do.
That's what I'm interested in knowing, because I remember going to the guy who had trained me in the paranormal field and told him what happened. He goes, "Yeah, these things happen to people sometimes. Doesn't mean you're John Edwards, you know." He's like, but I was like, if I can do it, then I can figure out a way to control it, so it's not haphazard, you know.
You could be John Edwards if you're able to get names like that. You could be John Edwards, frankly. So it's a matter of practice. Okay, practice. Just like anything in life. If you want to get good at a skill in life, such as playing the piano, playing poker, whatever you want to get good at, practice. So if you want to get good at receiving intuition, receiving inner guidance, developing your clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient abilities, being able to communicate with the deceased loved ones, or whatever it is you want to develop, skill you want to develop, practice. Do it every day. I would say practice it every day.
I used to. I so used to, Susan. I was so into it in my early 20s, and I'm 40 now and 2 kids. It's like time I get to it. It's like lately I've been getting back into it, but it's late at night. It's late at night because the house is quiet. The kids are asleep. The wife's asleep.
Anytime it's quiet. Yeah, it's fine. Any moments that you can take, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, just practice. Just ask a question. And then just get still, do the do nothing, take a deep breath first, get still, do the do nothing program, and receive the answers. And with greater practice, you'll get better at it. And one really important thing, Jason, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Because, if you're learning to play the piano, you make tons of mistakes.
No,
then you get good at it.
Well, we do once in a while, we do on a show called Psychic Night or Psychic Development Night. And we open up the phone lines and we play games, on the show that are psychic games, and we let callers call in and they can get a reading, or they can give a reading to another caller. And I always say, don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to just totally miss the mark. You're never going to learn until you try. And
that's right.
And I found myself a little scared to try even on my own show, but I did a reading or 2, and I want to do it again. We will do it again, people. We will have another Psychic Development Night show probably coming up in April. Because I was supposed to be in Florida. not doing a show, but one of the things I've been doing, you talked about the inner eye as one of the 3 senses, during this meditation to see. I've talked about this on my show too before. Is I have this experience. I've had it for years meditating, but when you close your eyes, and or somebody turns out the light and you see the purple from the color, the purple coloration, and when you suddenly have darkness from light when you close your eyes.
Maybe you do.
well, it's a chemical reaction.
Okay.
That you see when your vision suddenly changes from dark to light, you start to see purple in your field. It's like a purple haze in your vision, but your eyes are closed. A lot of people will experience it. Maybe you don't, but I do. And I'll see the purple start to form into images. I've had those images get really intense, and like that one experience where I said I ended up in a lucid state. It started out with seeing that purple in images, and I'm suddenly in what I'm seeing. I'm in the image. Well, recently, I'm interested in the idea of your communication, not with just spirits, but with divine beings. Recently, I mentioned this on the show last week. I've been doing it, and I'm just looking at what comes to me, and I basically, my intent is just to see what's going to happen, anything I need to know. And the last 3 nights that I've tried to do it, I don't know what your thoughts are on this or what your thoughts on this whole topic. I keep seeing, I don't know what to explain. I won't go away. But when I see that image, the only image I see is, the gray alien face, the typical gray. That's what I see.
Okay.
Have you experienced anything that besides divine beings, of anything that's alien-like?
No, because I don't ask for alien beings to come to me.
I didn't ask.
I only ask for divine beings to come to me. And I understand what you're saying. The alien being came to you. Yes. So, all right. So how did that alien being make you feel? What was the experience of it?
I'm not scared when I see it. I'm curious why I am seeing it. Why I just keep getting that image in my mind. And it seems like it's looking at me like a knowing look, but I don't know what it knows. I don't know what it's trying to tell me. That's what I'm not afraid of it, but I do back away from it because I'm like, okay, I just want, I don't want to channel anything alien. I don't want to get abducted. Kind of deal. There is some fear, I guess, in there.
Yeah. So it's important that you use. I have a system. I call it the tests of spiritual discernment. I have a 10 test system. It's not in the 2 books that you have there that you were sent for this particular show. It's in few of my books, though. It's in the book Divine Revelation. It's also in the book Awaken Your Divine Intuition. And as a matter of fact, it's also in the book Awaken Your Third Eye. So 3 of my books have the 10 test system in it. And the 10 tests of spiritual discernment will help you to tell the difference between the true voice of spirit and other voices in your mind, or visions, or whatever it is. Right. So you can test the authenticity of the inner messages, and you can tell what plane of existence they're coming from. Because there's 4 planes of existence where you might be receiving messages from. There's the spiritual world. That's the world of gods, deities, angels, archangels, divine beings, and also departed loved ones who are in the light, who have gone into the light. That would be the heavenly realm or the spiritual world. And that's where I recommend that people get their messages from.
That's where I'd like to go.
There's 3 other places you might be getting your messages from. There's the astral world, where you might be in touch with beings from demonic beings, or they might be souls who got stuck in the astral world. They didn't move on after death, so they're in limbo. They're in the astral plane. Or even faker spirits who are pretending to be something that they're not. Then the 3rd place you might be getting messages from is from your own ego or wishful thinking, your own subconscious beliefs.
Right.
And the 4th place would be the environment, environmental influences, the general consciousness of the human race, negative beliefs, patterns, habits, conditions of humanity that we carry in kind of an astral cloud around the earth. So those are the 4 places you might be getting your messages from. And I suggest that it's best to get the messages only from the spiritual plane, because that's safe. So the 10 test system helps you to be able to do that. And so I recommend that people study. Actually, there's 4 books that are in that I teach that in. But I recommend the most complete, probably, explanation of it would be in Awaken Your Divine Intuition. That book, Awaken Your Divine Intuition, and actually both, Divine Revelation. Those 2 books would be the best for learning about these tests of spiritual discernment.
Well, because to me, I know there are negative entities out there. I had an experience when I was 17, 18 with what I call a shadow person. And it was very, taking me out, ripping me out of my body, torturing me in my dreams. It went on for 4 or 5 months, almost drove me insane. And
wow.
So I had my experience with negative entities. So I'm always cautious. And I always tell people I want everybody to have an open mind and get into the paranormal, but there is caution. I always tell people to have caution, because I stuck my nose in something that I shouldn't have, and I almost drove me insane. So there are dark forces out there. I had when I was in my 20s, I was getting into this. There was a new age shop, and I'd go in there, and the teacher, the woman that owned the shop, and I consider her kind of a teacher, she did not want to talk about anything negative or accept the reality of it. And that's when I just couldn't get along with the program, because you do accept that there are negative entities out there. From what I
mentioned it. Talked about the astral world, where you can be in touch with demonic beings. And by the way, you can get possessed too.
Right.
And that's what happened to me when the first time I took LSD. I got possessed.
Ooh, really?
Yes. It was terrifying.
See, that's the drugs can be a danger.
Yes.
Drugs are bad.
I definitely see that. People have done. I right now there's these synthetic drugs out there, and people are like going crazy, doing crazy stuff, and acting animal-like. And I pointed out that there could be other forces that could take over somebody's body because they're doing these crazy drugs.
For sure.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Now for somebody. The third eye meditations, they're going to start out like if they had your book, if they get your book, what, you have, there are a lot of like guided meditations, it seems like in this book. Now, you say in the book somebody could record their own voice saying it back to them to like guide them through the meditation, like, or is there?
Yeah. Yes, Third Eye Meditations is the book we're talking about tonight, and that particular book is filled with guided meditations, affirmations, prayers, mantras that you can use to take you into deep meditation and to make significant improvements in your life and all different areas of your life. And I do suggest that you can either just read the book and experience going into meditation that way, but it's not ideal. Ideal would be if you actually are listening to the words guiding you into meditation. So it's a good idea to make a recording of the meditations that you want to practice that are in this book. And then you just sit comfortably and you start the playback, you close your eyes and just follow the instructions step by step. It's really easy. I mean, guided meditation, nothing could be easier because all you're doing is just following the instructions, listening step by step. You'll be told what to do and going deeper and deeper into meditation. So it's really powerful. It really works. I love the idea of you listening to your own voice to take you into meditation. However, you can also get an audiobook. This book happens to be in audiobook, and it's called Third Eye Meditation. So you can order the audio version.
Interested in getting the audio version because I don't think I can do it with my own voice. I've tried recording things and I hear myself and it just throws me off. So there's an audio version of the book. That would be awesome. I would love to get that because I've been reading them and I'm like, okay, I can't remember all this because it's not just like a simple guide. You have a very detailed guided meditations. It seems like in this book. So
they're totally meant to be. Yeah. Step by step, taking you into meditation. So you're either going to read them and just follow the instructions as you're reading them, or record them, or get the audiobook. Those are the choices.
One of the things I didn't even get to, we're talking your time with the Maharishi, or I would say it wrong, but Maharishi, I can't say his name, the yogi.
Yes.
Your time with him, did he display psychic abilities?
Oh, definitely. Maharishi was extremely tuned in. Yes, he knew what was going on. He could read my mind. I mean, it was patently obvious. He was definitely extremely psychic, but he was a spiritually enlightened being, in my opinion. So he had developed a lot of consciousness and also subtle sensory perception or supersensory perception, whatever you want to call it.
Well, what kind of things would he know? Like how would he would it be something he'd say is something you're thinking about at the time and he would just say it out loud?
It would be like that. Yeah. It would be those types of things. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
So, I mean, when you first encountered that, I mean, when you got into this, you were looking to open your mind, all that stuff. Did you expect to have these kind of abilities or or have these things presented to you, this kind of abilities, or were you just thinking, is this going to be, I'm going to become enlightened? And abilities come along with it.
It was like, I'm going to be enlightened. That's all I was interested in. I'm going to become enlightened. And I wanted to have the experience of transcendental awareness, of Satchitananda. I wanted to have the experience of samadhi. And I did. I mean, I had these experiences through meditation, through transcendental meditation, which was the meditation practice that I learned. Maharishi was the founder of transcendental meditation. So I learned all of that from him. And that was awesome. I had great experiences. But I have to say that even after spending over 2 decades in that, practicing that method and doing and being in that ashram, that there was something missing. And I think what was missing was divine love. I wasn't really feeling a personal connection to a deity or a personal connection. The only personal connection I felt devoted to was Maharishi, and I was not really feeling that I had an inner connection in a personal way to God in a personal way. So, but I learned this other method that's what I teach now. and it's called Divine Revelation. And through that method, I was able to feel that I was never alone again. I was never alone because I always had this connection to these personal, either ascended masters or divine beings who are always there comforting me. So I never feel alone. And that loneliness went away once I learned this other method.
It's interesting you say it, because one of the I told you about the experience I had was very lucid. The feeling I had there, I was in the presence of something parental with me at the time. Like I was not alone. Like it was immense love. It's the only thing I can tell you, the experience I have. And that's what I tried to get back to. I want to get back to. I want to experience that again, because it's like the feeling like you're not going to be alone at the end of the tunnel. You know, the light at the end of the tunnel. You know that there's something there. Now you also we're going to come up on a commercial break here soon, but one of the things we want to get into when we come back is the idea of, you know, you brought up earlier about, well, some people experience these like Kundalini energy and that because of past lives. How much have you explored for yourself the idea of past lives or how that affects you now?
Yeah, well, there are times when I've remembered past lives. Mostly if I wanted to heal something is when I don't just go back to past lives for fun or recreation. That's not, that's pointless. But I have in the past, I have gone back to understand why I have a conflict with a particular person, or why I have a particular attraction to a person, or why I have a particular fear, or why I have a particular maybe injury or something. And so I will go back and to discover what the first time was that I had that experience, so that I can remember a past life experience. And that does help me understand what's happening in the present, and really releases some of that fear, releases some of that karmic, emotional kind of charged energy. And that's very helpful.
Well, I believe in it totally for personal experience, and a friend and guest, Christopher Lee, who does wrote Life in the Past Lane. He wrote a number of books on. He does hypno regression, and you know, I had him do it with me, and saw some stuff. But I had two very vivid dreams in my life that I woke up knowing were past lives, and looking back at them, they just explained so much about my innate personality.
Exactly.
Like why I am the way, why I question religion, and I always have since I was a kid. Why I distrust authority, and why I don't like, you know, bullies or big people beating up on the smaller people. You know, why it just, or people trying to control other people. Because when I was I believe a Buddhist monk, and the other one, I was a little black girl and I was a slave. The Buddhist monk turned in the dream, I turned in my, I guess, guru or head of the temple to the military force. I don't know. I mean, it was so emotionally I woke up sweating from that one. So emotionally charged that I just know it was real. There's no way my brain can make up that much emotion and that feeling of being that person. And the other one, I was a little black girl who was a slave and had my master, I was his, you know, bastard child, beat me to death. So you know, there's a lot more to it than those dreams. But it really, when I would look back on both those, as I got more into discovering about past lives and all that, and I look back at them and really explored them, I'm like, God, that explains so much. That's just like, I always said, I'm wired this way, the way I am, the way I question authority, the way I question everything. And it comes back to those two visions, I call them the 10 streams. I swear were given to me for a purpose, to show me who I was.
Wow. Fascinating.
But with your techniques and meditation, people can look back on their past lives and get those kind of answers.
In my book, Divine Revelation, I do teach that past life regression method that I just described, how I go back and discover the first time I ever had that. So that's actually taught in my book, Divine Revelation. It's right there.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's something that, you know, I would like to explore more on my own, you know, and like learn more, because I am, like I said, I'm a Gnostic. I'm a spiritual Gnostic. I question everything, but having those experiences makes me really believe that I've lived other lives, that other people have lived other lives, and that it affects us in so many ways we don't even know.
Yes. And, you know, a lot of people have a lot of different ideas of what past lives really are and all that, but they do exist. And we have been many different people in the past. This soul has gone through many different incarnations.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to our commercial break, and we're gonna open up the phone lines. And Susan, I don't know if you'd be interested, if we have time, maybe even guiding us on a meditation.
Sure, I'd love to guide us in a meditation. That would be really good.
Jamie's clapping in the background, so she's she's definitely for it. So maybe join us after the commercial break, guys. You can call in, and we'll do a guided meditation. I think we all could use it right now. Escape, breathe. All right, guys, we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now. Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're going to go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college. I've got a family to support and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
For every earthling who's ever dreamed of adventures beyond the stars comes the astonishing story of one who made it, Alex Rogan.
You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Of all the life forms in all the galaxies, one has been chosen to be the last starfighter. The Last Starfighter, with the film of the #1 hit Do They Know It's Christmas, the official Band-Aid story. In the West End and across London now, rated PG.
The night is alive. Join us and take a walk on the weird side when you tune in to the Kingdom of Nye, hosted by Heather Wade, the finest in late night talk. Listen live free weeknights starting at 9 p.m. Pacific time at thekingdomofnye.com, talkstreamlive.com, and the Paranormal Radio app. Wanna take a ride?
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42.
42?
Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is, it's 42. It would have been simpler, of course, to have known what the actual question was.
But it was the question. The ultimate question. Of everything.
That's not a question. Only when you know the question will you know what the answer means.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Susan Shumsky. She's the author of Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Spirit, Mind, Spirit, Intuition, and the Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing. How to unlock your 7 energy centers for healing, happiness, and transformation. She's author of many other books. You can check out her on her website, drsusan.org or divinetravels.com. Those are 2 of her websites you can check out. She's also on Facebook. Check out, she's got so many books. I'm really happy. I got the two books I just mentioned here with me. I've been reading them. This is the perfect time for me to get back in meditation, right? I've been talking about it for the last couple months. People have heard me say, I have guests on, and like, you need to get back in meditation. I'm like, yeah, I need time. Well, here it is. I got the time. So now is your time to call in if you have a question on if you're thinking about trying to get into meditation, or maybe you are a practitioner and you want some advice. You call in at 219-230-4444. That's 219-230-4444. Or you can call in on Skype ID OOJBlandOO. That's OOJBLANDOO. Call in, ask your questions. And if you call in and you hear us talking, just wait till I call on you and you'll hear me call out your name or area code. But let's go ahead and get back to our guest. You still there with me, Susan?
I'm here, Jason.
Now, we'll see if some people call in. I do want to get to the guided meditation before we go to our last commercial break, but I'm still a little, interested more in your take on past lives. When you were with Maharishi, did he talk about past lives or how it had to do with? Did he have any knowledge or on that, or give any talk on it?
Obviously, he's a Hindu. Yeah. So Hindus believe in reincarnation, and he used to speak about the fact that we have past lives. Obviously, that's a part of the Hindu belief system. Yes, he did talk about it.
back then, I mean, coming from a Western civilization, when you first started with them, were you a believer in past lives at that point?
Yes, I was. Before I ever met Maharishi, I had already delved deeply into the whole Eastern framework, Eastern philosophy, Eastern wisdom. Like I think I mentioned earlier tonight that I had been reading the Buddhist scriptures. I had read Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. I had read several Zen books and many books. Everything I could lay hands on about higher consciousness. That's what I read because that's what I was interested in learning about.
So one of the arguments I've gotten from people over the years about reincarnation is like, well, if I don't remember anything from my previous life, then what would it matter? Because I am my memories. What makes you without your memories?
Well, we are not our memories. We are a being. We're a being of light. We are a divine being. We are ultimately consciousness itself. That's what we really are. And we can discover who we are through experiences of meditation. We can begin to identify with our higher self rather than with our ego through meditation. That's the best way to discover who you are and to begin to identify yourself as something much bigger than who you thought you were, because who you thought you were is not who you really are. Who you really are is a mighty, divine, powerful being that creates everything. It creates your own reality moment by moment. And it's the truth. That's what you are, and that's who you are. Well, but we identify ourselves as this small ego.
Right. The monkey mind that chatters away, the memories, that's who we are. That's what I always find interesting when people bring that argument to me. Bring that to me, that argument. It's like, so you think you're all that chatter in your head. You think you're all those memories. I'm like, what if you got amnesia? Okay, somebody knocked you on the head, Flintstone style. You woke up and you don't have any memory of who you are. Are you you? You know, that's what I'd always bring up to them. There's something in you that doesn't require your memories or the chatterbox.
Yeah, that's a really good comeback for that. Yeah, that's very true.
And that's the point. So when you're trying to meditate, you're trying to reach that state where the chatterbox shuts up and the memories don't interfere? Is that kind of the point to reach?
Well, the point to reach is what we call samadhi, which is a state of evenness of mind and stillness of body. It's a state where you experience perfection, you experience unbounded awareness, you experience what's called the fourth state of consciousness, which is beyond the three states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. The fourth state, literally in Sanskrit, fourth is turiya. So turiya would be the fourth state of consciousness, and that would be nirvana, the state where you are one, a state of oneness, state of wholeness, a state of perfect relaxation, perfect peace, perfect calm, perfect tranquility. And that's the state where you experience your true self, because your true self is that unbounded awareness. And the thing about meditation, though, in order to experience that, meditation is the best way, and you can't get there by trying or putting any effort into it or forcing. It's not about forcing the mind to become blank. That's the opposite of meditation. Letting go is what meditation is. Allowing, just relaxing, allowing, giving up, letting go. The more that you can let go, the better experience you'll have in meditation. So,
well, I have quite the monkey mind. I have.
That's okay.
The
monkey mind is not. It doesn't matter if the mind is a monkey. That does not prevent anyone from experiencing their Satchitananda. You can experience absolute bliss consciousness without trying to control anything. The monkey mind is not an obstacle to experiencing higher consciousness. And that's the reason why guided meditation is great, because what it does is it engages your mind. You don't have time to think about all these things. When you're listening to the instructions for the guided meditation, that engages your mind so that you're just following the instructions, just following it along. And then as you follow along the instructions, suddenly you're experiencing these very deep, profound states of inner peace and love and joy and all the great things that you can experience through meditation. And by the way, tremendous health benefits as well. Decrease of stress, decrease of hypertension, there's been tons of studies, scientific studies done on meditation and what it can do for you physically.
Oh yeah. I mean, anything I think you can do to get you calm yourself, it gives your body a chance to work. I think the mind affects the body a lot. And I know I've stressed myself out thinking too much, worrying and worried that I am. But so when I get these, when you get the random thoughts, the monkey mind, the things that come into your mind, you're not supposed to fight against them. You're supposed to recognize them and then let them go. Is that my understanding?
Well, definitely you're not supposed to fight against them.
Right.
It's just, that's a useless battle. And by the way, creating a battle is not meditating. Meditating is releasing and letting go. It's all about letting go and allowing. And you'll just get peaceful, more and more peaceful when you take those deep breaths. That will calm down the monkey mind right away when you take the deep breaths. That really helps to settle you down. And even if the mind is still very active, and that's fine. It means that you're awake. It means you're alive.
Well,
the mind is still active.
I think the body affects the mind too. So some people I've heard say, well, I can't meditate because my back hurts all the time, or I serious pain problems and stuff like that. What do you tell somebody that suffers from chronic pain or problems? They want to get into meditation, but they feel like they can't focus because of the pain.
Okay, well, if they're having the pain is preventing them. If their mind is engulfed with the pain rather than anything else, first of all, get into a comfortable position where you're not experiencing the pain. That would be number one. If the pain is persisting, even when you're in the most comfortable position you can be in, then don't fight the pain. The best thing to do is just simply allow your attention to go to the pain, because pain is a signal from the body. It's a cry for attention. That's what pain is. Pain is the body saying, hey, pay attention to this place in the body. There's something wrong here. So that's the time to easily and effortlessly allow your attention to be on the pain. In fact, dive into the pain with your attention. Just imagine that you're diving into the pain. And consider the pain to not be pain. Consider it to be a sensation rather than a pain. Simply allow your attention to focus. When I say focus, just put your attention on the pain, the sensation right. that you're having. Not considering it to be pain, just considering it to be sensation. As you do that, as you place your attention on the sensation, you will find that it will start to diminish. And eventually, if you continue to just place your attention on the sensation, it will dissipate.
So this could be a way for people to deal with the pain, to actually manage it.
Exactly.
Now that
and
would be great.
Fighting the pain is not healthy.
Right.
It's better for you to actually dive into the pain.
It's actually like showing your body that I recognize you. You're there.
Right.
I get the message.
That's what pain is. Pain is a cry for attention.
Now, what are some are there things people should, people really want to get into this? Are there things that other hindrances people should know, or things that they should could change in their life to make it easier?
Exactly. So in the beginning of my third eye book, my third eye meditations book, I'm just looking here at the people's excuses. 10 meditation myths.
Yeah, I remember this part.
Meditation is mysterious, intangible, and impractical. Well, meditation isn't really mysterious. It's very practical. It's a way to experience deep bodily relaxation and mental and emotional equanimity. And it's been proven scientifically to do that. Meditation, another meditation myth. Meditation is something weird and woo-woo that hippies from California do. The reality is that people from all walks of life practice meditation, and they get very helpful, positive, and very practical results. You can become healthier, happier, more fulfilled, and so on. A third meditation myth: meditation is hard, bordering on impossible. And if you try to concentrate or strain or blank your mind, you will find the meditation. You'll find your trying to meditate is difficult and unattainable. But that's not meditation. The guided meditations in the book, Third Eye Meditations, are effortless and relaxing. People believe that meditation requires tremendous skill and discipline. Really doesn't. It's really the do nothing program. If you just practice the easy step-by-step guided meditations that are in this book. Another meditation myth: no one has time to meditate in today's demanding world. It's a practice for an age when life moved much slower. Well, guess what? Life is moving much slower right now.
This perfect time is what I keep saying.
This is the time.
The do nothing time. Right here, people.
The time. You are quarantined. You are in your home. You can't go out. So meditation would be a good thing to do. Another myth: meditation conflicts with certain religious beliefs. Really, no matter what meditation you follow, you can meditate. People of all religions do meditate. And there's no religion that is anti-relaxation, and meditation is really about relaxation. Another meditation myth: people who are impatient or restless can't meditate. The truth is that even if you think you can't sit still, you can meditate anyway. Just begin by taking 3 slow, deep breaths to settle down, and then just follow the instructions in this book, Third Eye Meditations, and you can do it. Another myth: people can't meditate if they're too tired. Well, the reason that you think you're too tired to meditate is because you don't meditate. If you meditated, you wouldn't feel so tired. You would feel fresher and more alert and more effective in everyday life. Another myth: old people can't meditate. Well, if you think you're too old to meditate, you can't afford not to meditate at your age. As time is ticking by, it's more vital than ever to keep your body healthy and your mind alert. Meditation is scientifically proven to reverse such signs of aging as near-point vision and diminished brain functioning. Another myth: people think that they can't meditate if they don't believe in God. Meditation is not dependent on religious beliefs. It's because it's not necessarily a religious practice.
Right.
It can be a religious or spiritual practice, but it could also be just a way to settle the body down into deep relaxation and quiet the mind into inner peace. People of all faiths and people of no faith can meditate.
Spock meditated. I mean, Star Trek, I'm a Trekkie. Saying, but do you think prayer is a form of meditation?
Well, let's say that meditation is a form of prayer.
Or that
every thought is a form of prayer. Prayer is every single thought that goes through your mind every day is prayer. Simply because you're creating your reality moment by moment, day by day, with every thought, every word, and every deed. So every thought you are thinking is a form of prayer.
One of the interesting things I always found with my friends of the Christian faith, especially the ones who were really deeply devoted, is that they more of them would most often tell me, during prayer and all that, they use that away when they're having anxiety or fear about their life or what's going on or problems, is they give that to God. They let go of it and they give it to God. I always thought that was a beautiful way to look at it.
That's great. That is a great practice. To give up and give over to God is a type of surrender. It's a type of letting go. And I'll tell you, you can really get somewhere by doing that kind of practice.
Yeah.
Where you give your problems to God, give your anxieties to God, give everything to God, give your successes to God. Just be devoted to God. And I tell you, that is an amazing, that's one thing. Okay. So you asked me earlier about the fact that we were talking about the fact that I was in that ashram for all those years.
Yeah.
And I was experiencing this unbounded awareness all the time. But what I found was once I learned this new practice that I call divine revelation, it's more of a devotional practice. It's about really surrendering to God and being led by spirit in everyday life, or at least the way I teach it is to be led by spirit in everyday life, to listen to the still small voice, not just to ask and receive the messages, but actually to follow up and do what you're told. So that's what I try to do on a daily basis, is listen to spirit, ask spirit questions, receive the answers, and then do my best to actually follow the advice. A lot of people get advice, but they don't necessarily do it.
Right.
They don't necessarily follow the advice, but I try my very best to be led by spirit in everyday life. And that I've done. I decided to do that in approximately 1990, and I've tried to do it ever since.
I'm trying to do it now. In this situation we're all in, everybody that knows me I'm a worrywart, and they're like, why aren't you freaking out? Because I'm the freak out guy. It's because that's what I'm turning to. I am turning my trust to God and to the inner voice that is telling me, just hang in there.
Yeah.
You know, don't let it drown you. Don't let the fear and anxiety drown you. We do have somebody who's been waiting on the line. I better get to him here. We got Zach on the line. How you doing tonight, Zach?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Zach.
Hi, Susan. I just have one question for tonight, and it goes along the lines of just asking just for some advice regarding meditation. So, Susan, just to give a little bit of background, I do have a reoccurring dream that I have quite often. Jason knows the dream that I'm talking about, but I'm in a dark location. I don't know where I'm at, but I feel a gun pointed to the back of my head. And for some reason I say, make it quick. I feel the gunshot go off. I hear it go off and I fall to the ground. I can't move. But then I feel someone pouring gasoline on me and then lighting me on fire. And I've been trying to do a little bit of research into this, and even doing some of my own self-reflection, trying to listen to my inner voice, and I've only gotten just tidbits of information on this, is that it is related to a past life that I've been through. That whatever was going on, I was involved in organized crime, and I was some kind of a liability. I don't know how, but I've for some reason I listen to myself. I'm like, where would this have occurred? And I narrowed it down to a couple cities that I knew of that had like large, crime syndicates, in the past, and it was Detroit, Las Vegas, and Havana, Cuba. So my question to you is, what are some pointers that you can give me to where I can use meditation to possibly find the answers to this dream I've been having?
Well, yeah, it sounds like you've been working on it, and you've quite successfully already discovered quite a bit about it, which is great. You're on the right pathway. So, like I said, everything that I teach is based upon one principle: ask and it shall be given unto you. So I'd recommend that you call upon a divine being that you feel comfortable calling upon. It could be an ascended master, could be an angel, an archangel, a deity. Call upon that deity by name. Ask that deity to take you into deep meditation as you take some deep breaths and go deeper and deeper. And then when you really feel like you're in a deep state of meditation, then take another deep breath and then ask your question. Ask whatever question you want, whatever detail you want to know about that particular incident that happened in a past life. And by the way, it did happen in a past life. I can verify that for you right now. And just ask to be shown more about that. You can actually ask them to play a movie for you to show what actually happened. And you can ask specific questions about it. Like, what city was it in? And you can ask specific questions. And then you take another big deep breath, and then you do what I call the do nothing program, meaning you do nothing and less than nothing. And then the answer will occur to you. Trust it. Trust whatever you're getting. You might see a little movie playing in your inner eye. You might hear some words coming to you. A spirit might speak to you, or you may get a gut feeling about it. So ask and it shall be given unto you. That's my advice.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Susan, so much for answering my question. I do greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Zach. And from my personal experience with the two really vivid dreams I've had and past life regression that I had with Christopher Lee, is look how, I always say there's this, when you have these visions of the past life, when you look at how it's made you a person, like your personality, what traits do you think you might be related to that experience?
Those are good questions to ask. Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. I'll definitely be looking more into that for sure.
Well, thanks, Zach. You have a great night. Stay safe, buddy.
Hey, you too, brother. You take it easy.
All right. But we got like about 36 minutes before the next, less than that. We got about 30 minutes before the next commercial break. Is that enough time for a guided meditation?
Oh, sure. We can do a guided meditation.
All right.
I'd be glad to do that right now.
All right. Well, look, everybody get in a relaxing position, correct?
Yeah, everyone get comfortable. We're going to do meditation now. Be comfortable.
If you call in during this, I might miss it. You calling in, so wait till after, and I will take your phone call. But I'm not going to be looking at the thing if you're calling in. I won't hear it. So just wait, people, for after this. All right, the floor is yours, Susan.
Okay, great. So let's all get really comfortable in wherever we are. Get comfortable. Have back support. Don't sit in the middle of the floor in lotus position with your spine erect. Please do not sit like that. That's really not comfortable for people in the West.
Not at all.
Sit with back support, somehow with back support, and be really comfortable. Pillows or whatever. Temperature in the room, be sure it's a good temperature. Maybe just get some water, just to have water near you in case you want it. And let's just get comfortable and close our eyes. Just keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. So we're going to take some deep breaths. I did demonstrate the deep breath before. And deep breath is like this. So we're going to be taking deep breaths like that. Just take the deep breaths one at a time as I ask you to take them. Don't keep doing the deep breaths. Don't hyperventilate. Just breathe normally in between the deep breaths. And at any time you feel like scratching, blowing your nose, whatever you feel like doing, going to the bathroom, just go to the bathroom and then come back. I mean, don't hold anything in, don't hold anything back. This is all about comfort and relaxation. So let's take a big deep breath to unite with each other. Breathe in and let it go. Big deep breath of divine love. Breathe in. Let it all go. Big deep breath to unite with God. Breathe in. Let it all go. Big deep breaths to release all fear and to bring us to inner calm. Breathe in. And give it up. Just let it all go. Let everything go and be at peace. Peace, peace, be still. Be still and be at peace. Perfect peace, perfect peace, perfect peace. Be still and be at peace. Let's take a deep breath to go deeper. Breathe in. Let it all go. Peace, peace, perfect peace. Be still and be at peace. We now know and recognize that God is the wellspring of perfect peace. God is wholeness and oneness. God is perfect love. God is perfection everywhere now. God is perfection here now. God is perfect, perfect tranquility and serenity. And we are now merged with and one with God in a perfect, seamless wholeness. There is no separation between ourselves and God. For we live, breathe, move, and have our being in God and through God. God lives within us as us. We are that peace and serenity and tranquility that God is. We are the oneness and the wholeness that God is. We are all that God is. We live in the heart of God. We dwell in the house of the Lord. And we are at peace. Take another deep breath. Breathe in. And let it go. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Let's take a deep breath to go deeper. Breathe in. And let it go. We call upon all the divine beings of light to be here with us now, to assist us in this meditation. Beautiful Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth and wholeness, beautiful Saint Germain, bringing forth the violet, cleansing, purifying flame, the consuming flame that purifies us and brings us peace. And we call forth beautiful Babaji to bring forth spiritual awakening and enlightenment. And we call forth Master Jesus to build a golden sphere of beautiful Christ consciousness light around us, filling us with grace, with blessedness, and with peace. We call forth Archangel Michael to stand above us, below us, and on every side of us, to fill us with the radiant blue flame, sword of truth and divine will. And we call forth Mother Mary and Kuan Yin to bring forth unconditional love into our energy field and fill us with peace. As we take another deep breath, breathe in and let it go. Deeper, 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 deeper into the wells of spirit, into the silence of being. We allow ourselves to let go, to give up all cares and concerns. Put all those cares and concerns into a big fat gunny sack and just hand them over to God. We call upon the Holy Spirit to cut psychic ties between ourselves and any worry, doubt, fears, between ourselves and the pandemic, between ourselves and the news agencies, between ourselves and all of our beliefs that have caused us worry and fear. Those psychic ties are now lovingly cut, lifted, loved, healed, released, dissolved, and let go into the light of divine love and divine truth. And we now embrace and welcome beautiful new creative thoughts of love, peace, serenity, joy, freedom, wholeness, oneness, wellness, robust health, well-being, strength of our immune systems, strength of our inner power, strength of our inner knowingness, divine beauty, divine love, divine freedom, divine wisdom, wholeness and oneness, integrity, invincibility, joy, light, love, and truth. We are filled with the grace and blessings of God. As we take a deep breath to go deeper, breathe in and let it go. As we now just imagine a beauteous divine light above our heads. This light is radiant, brilliant. It is vibrating divine love. It is the most brilliant and bright and radiant light we've ever seen. And it is the light of God. We just imagine that as like a sun above our heads. And then we notice that this light is starting to descend into our body, relaxing our body and creating waves of love and bliss and peace in the body. We notice that the beauteous light now radiates down into our head, into our forehead and our entire head, just being filled with this radiant light, moving down into our neck, into our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders. This light is filling our shoulders and our back and our chest. It's filling our upper arms and lower arms and hands and fingers. It's filling our chest and our stomach, filling our hips, filling our buttocks and our thighs, filling our knees. This beautiful, beautiful light is just streaming down into the body, relaxing every cell of the body, making the body just become so relaxed and peaceful. The light's flowing down into our thighs and knees and into our lower legs and our ankles and feet and toes. And our whole body is just pulsating and radiating with this divine light. And this light is starting to expand and vibrate and radiate. It's radiating not only to the entire body, but it's also radiating to encompass the body, radiating outwards from the edges of the body, filling our entire energy field with this light, with this radiant, beauteous light of God. And we are filled with this light, and we are radiating this light outward to everyone we know, to our family, to our friends, to our city, to our state, to our entire nation, to all the countries in the Western Hemisphere, to Canada, to Mexico, to all of South America, to Europe, then on to Europe, to Africa, to Asia, to Australia, to Oceania, to the entire globe. The whole planet is just radiating and vibrating this divine light. And this light is purifying the earth. It's removing this scourge of virus from the earth. It is just filling this earth with health and well-being and wellness and robust health and radiance. And we're seeing some kind of medicine that's coming that heals all those who need to be healed. And this medicine is filled with God's light. And it's filled with God's glory. And it's filled with the beauty of divine love. And as we sit here in quietude and peace, we notice that there is a beautiful flame within our hearts that begins to grow. And this beautiful flame is the flame of divine love. And this flame of divine love is beginning to vibrate and radiate within us and all around us. And we are now just being consumed with this divine love flame. It's like a blazing fire of pure love that encompasses us, that surrounds us, that fills us with so much joy and peace and energy and divine ecstasy. And we are just now immersed and bathing in this divine love as we are being filled with this divine love. And the holy presence, the divine presence is just now feeding us with so much divine love. And we are just being immersed and bathed in this beauteous feeling of love, this comfort, this solace. We feel that there's more love coming into our hearts and our minds and our beingness and our bodies than we've ever experienced, ever before. We are just being filled with divine love, and it is vibrating and radiating with us, in us and around us, and expanding out beyond the boundaries of our bodies, expanding out to touch everyone around us, to touch not only our family, friends, circles of acquaintance, but also all the beings on this planet are being touched by this divine love that we are radiating. And we are filling the entire planet with divine love right here and right now. And this divine love is healing all the wounds and all the sadness and all the pain. And it's healing whatever is the basic cause behind the cause of this seeming pandemic, which appears to me to be the feeling of isolation. This feeling of isolation is now completely being healed by this divine love that's radiating everywhere throughout the planet. And we are filled with this radiance of divine love. And we feel so comforted, and we feel so much solace and so much succor, so much feeling of being loved. Not only are we loved, but all beings on this planet are being loved. They are loved by the source of all love, which is God the Good, Omnipotent. And this divine source of love heals all the beings on this planet. And we are filled with divine love and the radiance of God. So we are so grateful in our hearts for this divine experience of divine light and divine love and of healing. So we're going to come forth from this meditation, but keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. We're going to come forth in this meditation with great joy and jubilation in our hearts and great gratitude, knowing that we have experienced divine love and light, and we have contributed to the healing of this planet right here and right now. So we're going to come out of this meditation, keep your eyes closed. But what we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're blowing out a candle like this. Let's all do that. So we come forth from the level of spirit to the level of the mind, knowing that the mind has been permanently transformed, lifted, and healed by this meditation. Not only our individual minds, but the collective mind of the entire planet, even the entire universe. And we blow out another candle now. Come forth to the level of the body, knowing that the body has been permanently transformed, lifted, and healed by this meditation. Knowing that our bodies are filled with robust health, relaxation, peace, joy, happiness, fulfillment, that our bodies are filled with light. And if it is our desire for ascension, we know that our bodies are being transformed into light bodies as we speak. And we now take another deep breath. We now blow out another candle. And we come forth to the level of environment, just keeping the eyes closed, but just noticing the temperature of the room, noticing that we're sitting on the chair, noticing our feet on the ground, noticing that we are fully back and into this space, into this room, feeling ourselves, feeling the sensation on our skin, whatever that sensation happens to be. And we just feel so comfortable and so happy and so joyous. And now we're going to blow out at least 4 candles, 4 more candles, come all the way out to inward and outward balance, and then open our eyes wide. So let's do that. And open the eyes. If you do not feel like opening your eyes, blow out more candles and then open your eyes. Anyone who's a space cadet, just blow out more candles and then open your eyes. So eyes wide open. Let's say an affirmation with eyes wide open. Let's say this affirmation. I am alert.
I am alert.
I am very alert.
I am very alert.
I am awake.
I am awake.
I am very awake.
I am very awake.
I am inwardly and outwardly balanced.
I'm inwardly and outwardly balanced.
I am in control.
I am in control.
I am the only authority in my life.
I am the only authority in my life.
I am divinely protected by the light of my being.
I'm divinely protected by the light of my being.
I close off my aura and body of light.
I close off my aura and body of light
to the lower astral levels of mind.
to the lower astral levels of mind.
And I open to the spiritual world.
And I open to the spiritual world.
Thank you, God, and so it is.
Thank you, God, and so it is. That was very, very. I remember I told you how I started out and I would feel the pressure at the top of my crown chakra. Man, it does this like clockwise spinning at the top of my head. It was like almost like, I mean, I was very relaxed, but it's like I almost have to keep my whole body from like I'm doing it now, even though I'm talking like this like kind of like twirling motion.
I started seeing the light before she even started saying that we'd see like the sun above our head. I started already starting to see like a light.
Yes, that's true. Some of the things you would say during it, I would actually experience right before you would say it.
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah, there's a reason. I'm just describing what's going on. That's why.
But I do have like this really peaceful, energetic feeling. You know, I've been lately when I was working, I'd go on my lunch break and I'd give myself 20, 25 minutes just to sit, relax, call it meditation or whatever, but just let everything go. Exactly. And I come back to work with so much more energy. And that's how I feel right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Meditation would just feed you so much energy. The source of all energy is within us. So when you connect with your higher self, when you connect with the divine presence within you, you're going to be energized by that. And by the way, that's one of my 10 tests, is to notice if you're feeling greater energy after the meditation or after having connected with intuition.
Well, actually,
if you notice that you are energized, that's one of my most important tests, actually, to know that, yes, you truly were in touch with the spiritual plane and not the astral plane. The astral plane will make you feel drained, exhausted, and you'll feel less rather than full.
I was just going to say, I've been drained all day.
Yes.
And now I feel just 100 times better.
Exactly. That's what real meditation does for you. That's when you're truly in touch with the spiritual world during meditation, you're going to feel energized.
I feel like this cool feeling up the back of my spine right now.
Good.
That's kind of weird. I've had that before years ago during meditation, but it's been a while. Mm-hmm. I like it. Well, yeah,
great.
One of the things I remember reading a book, I think it was a Taoist book actually, that the author talked about. You know, he gave guides to like walking meditations during your day, and it was one called Scoop the Loop, whatever, and you'd like vision energy moving up from the crown chakra up the back of your spine, like in a loop around your body, and it would like give me energy. It would give me energy through the day.
It's called it's a Taoist meditation. And actually, it's in one of my books. I teach it in one of my books. My book, Awaken Your Third Eye. It's called the Microcosmic Orbit Meditation. It's a Taoist practice. And yeah, I teach it in my book, Awaken Your Third Eye.
Well, the reason I bring that up is things like that, besides meditating in the time you have and how it changes you, but there are things in your everyday walking life you can do to bring you back to present, to give you this feeling.
Yes, absolutely. Affirmation. That's what, during your everyday waking life, when you're not sitting in meditation, use affirmation. For example, the affirmation we did when we came out of meditation just now, I am in control. I am one with God. I am the only authority in my life. I am divinely protected by the light of my being. I close off my aura and body of light to the lower astral levels of mind, and I open to the spiritual world. Thank you, God, and so it is. That is an affirmation you can say anytime throughout the day that will bring you right back to center, that will bring you, that will help you gain so much energy and prevent you from the energy drain, especially if you are an energy sponge. If you're absorbing energy as a sponge absorbs water, then, which many people, sensitive people are, then you need to
I feel
say an affirmation like that, and that will immediately pump up your energy. You'll feel energized again.
Well, you talk about being a sponge. I've always said I pick up on other people's emotions. Like, I've never been a fighter, like to get in a fight or be violent, because when somebody's angry or violent towards me, I get like horrible sickness in my stomach. Like
exactly.
Even when somebody's like being quiet to me, you know, I get that horrible, like, they're not saying they hate me or anything, they're mad at me, but I know they are, because I get that horrible sickness. Like I do feel like I pick up me and my wife talked about this recently. It's like I'm looking to be not anxiety. I'm like trying to go in and trust in God during this situation. But I feel like I'm also, like, when I was at work and I was dealing with people and dealing with the coworkers, like, I'm picking up on their anxieties and their energy, and it's affecting me.
It does.
I felt the difference once I got locked at home.
Yeah, so it's really important that you learn some of these healing prayers that I teach. Some of them are in the Chakras and Chakra Healing book, Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing. Some of them are in the Third Eye Meditations book. I do have some healing prayers in there as well. Particularly, there is a chapter in the Third Eye Meditations book. It's called just hold on, I'll find it. Oh, it's the one, Open the Doorway to Inner Strength and Protection, chapter 5. There are the affirmations that you need to do, that you need to learn and practice on a regular basis. Chapter 5, starting on page 52. And that's the chapter 5. So that will help you to become less of an energy sponge and more control, more inner power, inner strength, so that you're not as affected by these outer.
It's something I wanted to work on myself with, because I do think I do get affected by other people's energy. It'll make me act like like change my mood. And I'm like, why am I acting like this? And realize it's because everybody else is aggravated, or
you're just picking up, and you're not having your own thoughts. You're having everybody else's thoughts and feelings.
I think so many people experience that. They don't realize what's happening to them.
They don't. They absolutely don't realize it. And I have another book called Instant Healing that could be very good for you as well. That has 243 healing prayers in it. It's called Instant Healing.
I like that feeling I told you in my spine is like spread out through my arms and my legs and everything. It's like this cool, chill feeling. It's nice, but it's weird. It's like flowing through me right now. It's a weird feeling.
It's great.
I got to get the audiobook of Third Eye Meditations. I really got to get the audiobook, because is it your voice on it, or is it somebody else speaking?
No, it's not my voice. It's somebody who's a professional.
Yeah. Well, your voice is very lovely, though. It'd be fine if it was yours, but as long as it's not mine.
I don't think it's that great.
As long as it's not my voice. That's all I'm concerned. I don't want to hear my own voice. I have to hear it enough. but I'm interested in getting the audiobook of this too, and learning from the meditations, because trying to read it and memorize it probably is a really hard thing to do for people. You do say in the book, like, you could try to guide yourself, but it seems harder.
No, I don't recommend memorizing it at all.
Yeah.
What I suggest is that you read it on a device and then play it back, or just read it. You can just read it, and that will take you into meditation, even though your eyes will be open as you're reading, but still you will get some benefit from it.
Just reading it and just focusing on the words while you read it?
It will actually be better if you read it out loud, if you say it.
Well, never thought of that way. That could be meditation in a way, but I guess you are focused on what you're doing.
Definitely.
Now, we're going on their commercial break. I want to get into the chakras and the chakra healing, the big book of chakras, because it's something I like I said, I did some reading in it. I have a lot of books on it, and but it's something I still feel like I have little understanding of. I got enough understanding to understand what was happening to me when I was having these, like I said, I call them wheels spinning. That's what it feels like. It feels like a little tug or force, and it starts out at the top of my head, and it starts coming down. Like, I'm feeling it now in my throat, in my forehead. I'm feeling like it's just like tug, this pull. I don't know.
Very good.
So it is. See, when I first had it, I didn't feel like it was good. I didn't know what was happening.
No, it's very good. You're just being aware of your chakras. The word chakra means wheel.
Yeah, see, and I didn't know that at the time, but that's exactly when I started reading it, I'm like, God, this makes sense. This is what's happening to me.
Yeah.
I had some people do some Reiki on me afterwards, say your energy is really, I can feel it. Like you need some balance here. Like, they started telling me I was, opening myself up, but I needed to like balance some of it out. Have you experienced that with people that, people who are learning this, that they do open up these chakras and need to find a way to balance it once they open them up?
Well, yeah, in my book, the big book of chakras and chakra healing, there's actually one of the chapters is about healing, the power of healing, it's called. And in that chapter, there are certain affirmations that you can use. In the chapter, I actually, there's some case studies in it about people who've had strange experiences with Kundalini and so on. And then there's some exercises and affirmations that you can do to help with these problems. So,
well, we're going to go to our last commercial break, and I'd like to get in a little bit more about the big book of chakras and chakra healing, especially some of the strange instances people have with chakras. Because to me, it was really at first unnerving, but then an eye-opening experience when I realized something I was happening to me when I was in my early 20s was something people have known about and for thousands of years. And I just stumbled upon it. So that I want to get into that and how it affects your lives, and your everyday life, balancing these energies or recognizing these energies. When we get back from this short commercial break, and the phone lines are still open, guys, go ahead and call in 219-230-4444 and Skype ID OOJBland00. We'll be right back.
Intercepted transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
The international chart-topping Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest, the true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
Phantasm, the film that puts the fun in funeral. And as for a fiendish story, it does have a burial plot. Come prepared to scream, because if this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead. Phantasm from Avco Embassy Pictures. Rated R under 17, not admitted without parent.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
This fall, a new hard-hitting police drama is coming to Friday night. He was a well-to-do cop transferred to a troubled precinct downtown. His new partner is a space traveler with a passion for justice. It's Yuppie and the Alien.
Look, you might vaporize dissidents in Alpha Centauri, but in this precinct, we do it by the book.
I'm so terribly sorry, Captain.
Goog, I'm sorry. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind police drama. They're fighting crime the hard way in designer clothes with $250,000 sports car and a UFO.
Partner, let's go cruise in the car and look moody.
One tough downtown precinct, two outsiders doing things their way. Yuppie and the Alien on VBC.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and
The night is alive. Join us and take a walk on the weird side when you tune in to the Kingdom of Nye, hosted by Heather Wade, the finest in late night talk. Listen live free weeknights starting at 9 p.m. Pacific time at thekingdomofnye.com, talkstreamlive.com, and the Paranormal Radio app. Wanna take a ride?
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Heat 'em up. Do, re, be gone.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, we've been talking to our guest, Susan Shumsky. She's the author of Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition, and the Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing, how to unlock your 7 energy centers of healing, happiness, and transformation. We had a great guided meditation. I'd be interested tonight if any of you who participated in that guided meditation to call in. Tell me about what your experience. You heard what I experienced. I'm still experiencing it. I still kind of feel this like cool energy running through all parts of my body, and my crown chakras kind of going nuts. Going in this feeling of spinning circle. What did you experience? Call into the show. Tell us. 219-230-4444. That's 219-230-4444. Or you can call in at Skype ID OOJBlandOO, or that's OOJBLANDOO. Call in. Tell us, what did you experience when Susan was given that wonderful guided meditation? Or call in with your questions. I'd love to hear them tonight. But let's go ahead and get back to our guests. Thanks for hanging in there with us, Susan.
I'm really having a fun time tonight talking to you, Jason.
It does go by quick. We do have somebody that just called in. I'd like to get to another phone call here if you're all right with that.
Sure.
All right. We got 682 area code. Who do we got?
Hi, this is Greg.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for being there. I started meditating when I was about 14. Did the TM. I got the child discount. That's great. Anyway, that was back a while ago. Anyway, I've been thinking all my life about different things about the way things were and stuff, and that was my kind of introduction into reincarnation, I think. that and, you know, some martial arts and stuff like that. But anyway, I came up with the idea that maybe with reincarnation, instead of being, you know, a soul on its way to ascension, that maybe there's just one soul occupying every space and all the people, you know, in the whole human universe. One soul going, you know, back and forth to different lives and learning from that. But then I thought of the idea of quantum reincarnation, in which the soul can go backwards in time and forwards in time and in the present, and that allowed it to occupy every single life in this whole place. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of ask about what the
deep thoughts
what
of
you might
Greg
think
here.
of that.
Oh, well, yes. This is something that is not an entirely original idea. It is known in Eastern philosophy. It's known in India. There is one, you call it a soul. There's one wholeness. It's called Brahman. Brahman is beyond time, space. It is absolute. It is unmanifest. It is without boundaries. It is omniscient, omnipresent. It is never born, never dies. And that would be Brahman. And Brahman is beyond this universe, it's beyond this relative existence that we live in. But there's also an individualized part that's called Atman. So Atman would be the individuality, and Brahman would be that wholeness that is you might call it soul, the soul that's within all beings, and that can go forward and backward in time. And there's only one. Brahman is only one. And as a matter of fact, in the Upanishads, it is said that Brahman is one. Brahman is one without a second. In other words, there is no duality. There's only the oneness. And so that would be what you're talking about. That's exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about Brahman. But then there's also Atman. Atman is our individuation. It is the I am presence, the I am within us. It is who we really are individually as a being. And that being never changes throughout all the incarnations that we experience. We are always that Atman, that same Atman. So yeah, there's both of those.
And Greg, I want to say, since I was a kid, I've had these thoughts, these deep thoughts like yours. I saw a movie when I was a kid that kind of scared me, but it made me think about consciousness a lot. And I'm telling you, I was a kid when I saw this movie. Was the Sybil, about the multiple personalities.
Oh yeah.
And remember, I don't know if you remember the case, but she had supposedly had 21 personalities. Her mom would lock her in a dark place after horribly treating her, and she'd be stuck in like a closet, or it was like a thing. She was stuck with herself in a locked place, and she developed these personalities. Well, I've always said about consciousness, and what I've thought about, and I thought of this as a kid, and I've held it with me ever since. When I think about who we are in consciousness, the one consciousness, is that if you dream, when you dream, there's other people in your dreams, right? There's other people interacting with you in your dreams. Everybody does. Well, who are those other people? But they're your own mind. If that's your dream, your mind's making up all those people, those characters. If consciousness is left alone, like it did with Sybil, with no input, just darkness, no sensory. You take away, people in sensory deprivation tanks of experiences. The mind starts to make its own world. It starts to make its own characters. It splits apart. I think that's just the nature of human consciousness. Where we came from is from a one consciousness decided to not be alone, to make a reality. I think there's some truth in that.
As a matter of fact, in the ancient scriptures of India, it is said that how unity became duality was self-awareness, knowing that I am alone and may I be many.
Exactly. And that's what I thought of as a kid before I never read any of that stuff. That's just stuff I thought of as a kid when I would think about it, as I was a deep thinker. Well, thank you, Greg. It was Greg,
yes,
right?
Yes, you're both deep thinkers.
Well, thank you for calling in, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay. All right.
That
Deep
was gonna
thoughts
be-
by Greg and Jason.
That was going to be one of my questions.
Really?
What do you think about like sensory deprivation tanks and doing things like that?
My favorite movies, and I think I played in one of my commercial ads, is Altered States. I love that movie. People look at me like, how do you like this movie? I've showed that movie. I remember showing it to one of my cousins, it was like my brother and his wife. Like, why do you like that movie? I'm like, come on, it's the inner journey.
It's the 60s.
Yeah.
Some sensory deprivation tanks. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can sit down in meditation on a subway and have the same experience you have in a sensory deprivation tank if you know how to meditate. You can have an equally amazing, unbounded, blissful, ecstatic experience of being on a subway. You don't have to be in a sensory deprivation tank to do that, but yeah, it might be fun to do that. I've done it. Unfortunately, my skin is too sensitive. I can't stay in those because of the salt.
The
in the water.
salt, yeah. That I have
Fortunately,
psoriasis.
I was not able to do that, but
Yeah, it would kill me. All that salt in the water. Oh my God, my skin would be screaming at me. But I've always wanted to try it. I mean, but like I said, Altered States is up there as one of my favorite movies, and I've always wanted to try a sensory deprivation tank so much. It couldn't be something I could do more than once because, man, I'd be putting so much lotion on afterwards. But you did try it once. What was your experience, Susan, when you did do a sensory deprivation?
I couldn't do it. It
was just too painful. Oh man.
Yeah, I couldn't do it because of my skin.
Yeah,
So
that's probably my experience.
I didn't stay in it. So
darn.
Unfortunately,
That'd probably
Some
be my
people
experience
just
then.
have problems.
Oh yeah, that'd probably be my experience. Darn it! And I want to try it sometime. But you're saying you don't need to. You can, if you get good enough with the meditation, you're experiencing the same thing.
Go to the ocean and float on the ocean. Float in a swimming pool.
Just don't drown.
That's similar. No, I mean if you know how to float, just float.
I do that a lot here. During the summer and all. Sometimes I'll go out in the ocean, at midnight and just float. I know that freaked you out, Jason, but
yeah, I have scenes of Jaws that come into my mind, but
sounds lovely.
But yeah, it's awesome.
You could do that in the Gulf, basically.
Yeah,
where
not me.
Where there's no waves,
Not me.
The Gulf of Mexico is like a bathtub. That's the place to do that.
Not for me. I have a fear of the oceans and sharks. Yeah, no.
Oh well, then do it in a swimming pool.
A swimming pool. There we go. A swimming pool. I have a fear of drowning too. I don't know. Water's a great thing for me. That's the other reason. Like the sensory deprivation, just the water itself kind of freaks me out. But I've always wanted to try it because, like I said, Altered States was one of my favorite movies, and the idea of just like my whole idea of consciousness, evolves on that idea that if you cut out the input, the mind will start to create its own input, its own characters. That just seems to be the nature of the mind.
Well, if the mind learns how to meditate, then the mind doesn't have to create characters. It can just remain in bliss consciousness,
right?
Which is beyond characters. In fact, it's beyond duality. So that would be the state that is really the goal of meditation, is the state of samadhi. Or Sat Chit Ananda, absolute bliss consciousness.
How does Kundalini energy and chakras, how does this all play into this?
Well, okay. The chakras are keeping you alive. They are made of pranic energy. They're made of prana, also known as ki or chi. They're in a subtle body. They're not in your gross physical body. And the chakras are regulating and governing activities in your physical body. And prana is the life force energy that gives you heat and it gives you motion. It's said in the ancient scriptures of India that when prana is in the body, that is what is defined as life. And when prana leaves the body, that is what is defined as death. So that life force energy is flowing through specific pathways of energy that are called nadi. In India, they call them nadi. In China, they call them meridian.
Right.
And the chakras are called acupuncture points in China, according to Chinese medicine. And so you have, hundreds of chakras throughout your body, and you have these acupuncture points, that is, and you've got these pathways of energy that are flowing through the body, the subtle body. If you were to dissect a corpse, you would not find a nadi or a chakra anywhere. They are in a subtle body. They're actually in a different dimension. Yet, that's what's keeping you alive. So it's very interesting that something that's invisible is really where life is. It's not in this physical body. It's in your subtle body.
So
That's why when prana, when the subtle body withdraws from your physical body, you're cold and you're dead and you don't move anymore. And there's no life anymore.
Well, like the feelings that I feel, like I still feel right now, like the spinning at my crown chakra. What is the wheel? What is the spin? What is that?
Okay. So the word chakra means wheel.
Right.
It has a hub, which is the center of the pranic energy, and it has radiations or spokes of energy. And your experience is that it's spinning.
Right.
Other people experience that they're spinning of the chakras as well. So you're having the physical experience. You're having the real experience of your subtle body there.
Is it our spirit body? I mean, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's your aura, auric field, or energy field. There's 5 layers to your body. First is the physical body. That's called the Annamaya Kosha, or food sheath. In English, it's called food sheath. It's made of food, sustained by food, and becomes food for something else after you're gone. That's why it's called the food sheath. The next sheath is called the Pranamaya Kosha, which is your pranic body or your vital energy body. That's where your chakras are and your nadi. So chakra and nadi. So that is, like I said, that's the body that's keeping you alive, giving you motion, giving you heat. The third body is called the Manomaya Kosha, which is your mental, emotional body. That's where your senses are: seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, feeling. They are in your Manomaya Kosha, your subtle body, mental body. When a person has a near-death experience and they catapult out of their body, possibly, and maybe they're looking down on their body, they're seeing that the doctor's resuscitating them. Who is looking? What is looking?
They have no eyes.
How can they see? They don't have any eyes.
Right.
That's because your mental body, your Manomaya Kosha, that's where the senses actually are. They're not in your physical body. Then we have the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is your intellect, ego body. And then we have something called the Anandamaya Kosha, that translates as blissful body, and that is your causal body. So those are what they call Panchakosha, 5 sheaths. Those 5 sheaths, traditional in India, those make up your physical body and your subtle body. So your subtle body is also known as the aura or auric field or energy field. So what you're experiencing with the sensations you're experiencing are in your pranamaya kosha, your subtle body, because you're experiencing the flow of prana throughout your body and you're experiencing the spinning of the wheel and that sort of thing. That's your pranamaya kosha. It's giving you experiences.
And knowledge too. I mean, like, it gives you things you should know.
Knowledge comes from a different body, comes from your intellect ego body, or from your Atman, which is beyond those 5 bodies.
Is that like your
higher self?
Okay.
Higher self.
Yeah. So that's what I wonder. Like, if you get that inner voice or messages, sometimes it's spirit, sometimes it's your higher self, or a little of both.
It is always your higher self. Your higher self can take the forms of divine beings as well. Angels, archangels, ascended masters, even the loved ones from the other side. But they're all part of your stream of identity.
So, your conversations, like, how do you communicate with divine beings?
I do.
And what is that experience like for you?
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. It's like they're sitting in the room almost, even though, I don't have that kind of clairvoyant sight where I see things in the room with eyes open, but inside with my eyes closed, I'm seeing them, I'm talking to them, I'm hearing them, I'm feeling them. Sometimes I might even smell or taste them. It's a matter of using the subtle sensory perception to communicate with divine beings or with your higher self or whatever you want to call it. You can define it any way you want according to your own spiritual beliefs. It could be a deity, could be a ascended master, could be your higher self. And you can have conversations.
What are the kind of conversations you have with them?
Oh, I ask questions like, is it highest wisdom for me to, let's see, what did I ask today? Let me think. Is it, let me try and remember some of the, I ask very mundane questions on a daily basis. Like, is it highest wisdom for me to go to the grocery store today? I mean, really total mundane questions. In fact, I did ask that today. I remember I asked, is it wise for me to go to the grocery store?
That's not a mundane question right now.
I asked, is it wise? Yeah, no, it's not mundane because you could actually catch the coronavirus. So you want to be in a safe place. That's the reason I asked the question, actually, was because of that very thing.
Yeah, not mundane.
Yeah, and I asked, is it wise to go to the grocery store today? And I got no. And I asked, is it wise to go tomorrow? And I got yes. And then I asked, well, where to go? And I was told where to go. I mean, these are extremely mundane questions, but very practical, and we need them. This is the time we need that type of intuition more than ever. It's vital for us to know, to keep ourselves safe.
And, I do that too, in a way. I've been trying to listen to what my gut tells me, what my I'm trying to tap into my inner voice and like, is this a good time to go do this? And the main, you said before about how the inner voice or these communications told you, that this virus will be over quicker than what we think. That we'll be through this quicker than what we think, and that's the feeling I get. What I keep getting feelings of what happened with 9/11, like everything went nuts in one day, but how quickly the panic and everything went away. I feel like this is a longer rollout, but it's still we're still going to get to that point where the panic stops. We go on with our lives, Yeah,
we're going to go on with our lives. I don't actually ever ask predictive questions. I don't ask about the future, but often Spirit volunteers information about the future.
Right.
In this case, it volunteered and it said to me, this is not going to last for that long. It's not going to last as long as people think it is.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I subscribe to the kind of the Star Wars Yoda notion that the future is always in motion. I'm not saying psychics can't predict the future. People can't see into the future. I've had experiences where I've seen things and then they happen. But I feel like there's all these multiple possibilities and everything. It's this continuously changing ball of possibilities. Like Yoda says, the future is always in motion.
That's very true. And that's the reason why you can never predict the future accurately, even if you're a really great psychic or a really great astrologer. You can't do it precisely simply because we are creating our reality moment by moment, day by day, with every thought, word, and deed.
Right.
And the only thing that a psychic could project is what our current state of mind is. According to our current state of mind today, this is the future.
Which wouldn't look really good if you put everybody as the current state of mind right now. That's why I told I have psychic friends who are having visions of stuff that's bad. And I'm like, that's the future right now where we're at, but things can change.
Yeah, that's why it's best to get your messages from Spirit, from the spiritual plane rather than the astral plane. Many psychics, I'm not saying all psychics, or I'm not saying a lot of psychics, but there are many psychics who do get their messages from the astral plane. And that's a plane of fear. It's a plane that doesn't take into account the spiritual underpinnings of life. It's just reading the thought forms of individuals and of collective individuals, collective consciousness. And collective consciousness is not necessarily the kind of surface level of collective consciousness, which is our humdrum thoughts that are going through our minds, like fear and all these things.
Yeah.
That doesn't create the future. What creates the future is a subconscious beliefs. So if our collective subconscious belief was that this pandemic will last another year, yeah, it probably would. But that's not what's happening.
So I tell people, cut your cable, stop watching the news. My dad, is freaking out about this. And I'm like, Mom, tell him to turn off the news,
Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes, I'm not telling people to shut out reality around you.
No. You have to follow the guidelines that they set up, but you don't have to wallow in them every 5 minutes, turning on the news and hearing the latest horrible statistics. And, that's really not necessary.
No.
Just follow the guidelines they've given you. Wash your hands. Be careful when you come back in the house after being outside. Go and wash your hands first, and just be careful.
Because, honestly, the media they're as bad as a negative spirit, in my opinion. They feed off of negativity.
They are. Well, if it bleeds, it leads.
Right.
That's the philosophy of news. The newspapers have always been, that's their philosophy. If it bleeds, it leads. It's all about sensationalism.
Yeah.
The more sensationalism, the more papers they sell. It's the same
That's why
principle.
it's like a drug to
and
people.
the internet. It's a drug, yes.
Yeah, and you got to turn it off. Put your phone down. Turn off the cable news. Take a minute and just to breathe in and enjoy what you're doing right now, sitting at home. But enjoy it for now. Things will pass. Play
a game with your kids.
Yes,
play Scrabble. Have fun.
That's what I'm trying to
do.
Have
a vacation. Have fun.
That's what I'm trying to do. Is when I always said, I told you when I was in my 20s, I got into all the conspiracy theories and all that stuff, and back then I was like, I'm never having kids. I'm just going to sit back and roll a doobie and watch the world burn. And I don't care. That's the 20-year-old, I'm 40 now. And now, it's like, I have something to worry about my kid's future. I have major anxieties, but I am trying not to give into those. I am trying to.
Well, the future is very good for your kids because the kids are not like our generation. The kids are actually interested in saving the earth.
It's true. I see that from my son, my oldest son, who says things. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty impressed by that.
Exactly.
His outlook on things. Sometimes no, but I'm trying to instill in him an idea of because he's got his anxiety. I have an 8-year-old that goes to therapy, and the therapist says he's got anxiety because of this. So I'm trying to show him, I'm trying to lead by example, not show my own anxieties about it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do on the show too with people, because I see a lot of fear mongering. I see a lot of stuff. I don't know about you, but I've been staying away from Facebook a lot, and staying away from social media. It's just as bad as the news. People are panicking and freaking out, and it's like,
oh yeah,
you got to disengage from that. You got to look, control what you can do right now to make your life better. That's all you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meditation would be it. So divine or drsusan.org and divinetravels.com are your two websites people can go to.
Yeah, those are my main websites, drsusan.org and Divine Travels, that's plural on the travels, with an S on the end of travels, divinetravels.com.
And if anybody,
obviously you're not going to be traveling anytime soon, but
astral travel, I don't know.
Yeah, some astral travel now, but real travel coming up. My next big event is in August 28th to September 4th. By then, this is all going to be gone. There'll be a bad memory.
That's what
so that's when we'll be traveling from we'll go from Seattle to Alaska, and there'll be tons of fun. Sailwithspirit.com. Just go to divinetravels.com. You'll see the upcoming cruises and other events that'll be happening.
Well, that's what I say. When we get through this, we'll all be able to hopefully put a lot of the crap we've had in the last 3 years. It seems like dividedness that we've had in this country. We'll put a lot of that behind us. Is what I hope is the silver lining, that we all start to come together.
Well, the great thing is that this is what's bringing us together. As I said earlier in the conversation, this pandemic is what's bringing us together. People are actually in togetherness now instead of all this divisiveness. People are focused on something bigger than their petty differences.
Exactly. Realize how how short life can be on this planet sometimes too. That's the thing about we're almost at the end of the show, but one of the things I loved about Buddhism is they would have young monks watch a corpse decompose, and people are like, well, that's morbid. And I always understood it as them showing somebody that life is always changing, and nothing's permanent, and they accept your existence on Earth.
Exactly, and that's the message of the sand painting that they do as well.
Yeah, where they make this beautiful sand art, and then they destroy it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's the same when they do that also in like Guatemala during the Easter celebrations. They make this very elaborate paint art on the streets, and then they dissolve it. Same thing, same message. Life is transient.
Well, thank you, Susan. It was a true honor and pleasure to have you on the show tonight. I'd love to have you again. I'm holding up the book, one of the books right now, the Big Book of Chakras. These are wonderful books. People highly recommend it. Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing and Third Eye Meditations. Check them out. But that's it for the show. Thank you, Susan. Like I said, love to have you again on the show. Next Sunday, same bad time, same bad channel, we'll have Dave Emmons. He is an alien abductee. We're going to talk about his experiences. Excited about that. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube and Facebook. Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. We also have a Patreon where you can help donate to the show. $2 a month helps pay the bills. It costs money to stream out to Facebook and YouTube and show your comments up on the screen. They have the radio network. All those things cost money. $2 a month does help out the show, and I am now working on some exclusive content for that Patreon. So whatever you can do to help. But the biggest thing you guys do to help is sharing the show out to everyone. Thank you to everyone who shares the show, and tell your friends about Paranormal Soup. All right, guys, we'll be back next Sunday. Have a great night.